The DOJ today announced 11 indictments in the deaths of migrants who died from extreme heat after being locked in a cargo container in May. The local U.S. attorney, Justin Simmons, said an investigation found 6 bodies when the train arrived in Laredo, Texas, and they were connected with another in San Antonio.
Each of these individuals paid anywhere from $1,500 to $10,000 to be brought across by this alien smuggling organization, only to die in the sweltering Texas heat.
A slow-moving storm system brings a multi-day flood event to the Carolinas over the next several days. ABC News meteorologist Ginger Z.
Charleston to Wilmington today finds themselves in a level 3 out of 4, so that's where some of the heaviest rain will be falling. We're talking about 3-inch per hour rainfall rates possible. That includes Myrtle Beach, right in the center of it. We've seen these heavy showers. Obviously, we know what this front can do. It's taken its sweet time getting through, and we're going to see this all the way through Saturday afternoon.
Sean Diddy Combs is now in solitary confinement after getting into a fight at the New Jersey federal prison where he's being held on sex trafficking charges. Former President Barack Obama popped into his own presidential center today in Chicago to surprise the WNBA All-Stars practicing there. He spoke to the players for a few minutes before taking a group photo. As for if he will lace up or not, Obama said he didn't play 5-on-5 anymore to protect his Achilles. The players also gifted him a number 44 jersey, which they will all sign. I'm Stephanie Officer, ABC News.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments. Just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Kale and Company weekday mornings 6 till 10.
Dr. Craig is in Mullica Hill.
$825 he's raised for us.
I've got a police benevolent organization that's behind me, and if you can be there, support in person, and if you can't be there, exercise, diet, take good care of yourself, and for God's sake, make a good donation. BenToShore.org, and the team is Kale and Company.
What a promo.
Thank you.
Dr. Craig.
Thank you, Dr. Craig.
Reading from a prepared statement, I would assume. That's a good job out of him.
No, he's just good on the fly.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Weather sponsored by the Piazza Auto Group.
The pleasant air mass remains in place across the region through the entire weekend. We'll have plenty of sunshine today with a high temperature a few degrees below average at 85 with low humidity. For tonight, becoming partly to mostly cloudy, low 65 for the city, a bit cooler in the suburbs, and another comfortable day on Saturday with a mix of sun and clouds with a high 85.
Feel the future of luxury with the all-new Infiniti QX65, where bold design meets effortless performance. Elevate every drive with advanced tech and refined comfort. Now available at Infiniti Westchester and Infiniti Ardmore.
WPHT HD WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Piazza Auto Group Studios, experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
306 Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Casey Bartholomew. I'll be with you until 6 o'clock when Rich Zioli comes on. Give me a call, 855-839-1210. That's 855-839-1210. In the latest incredible development, the Philadelphia Sixers have signed LeBron James. He's taking his talents to, well, not South Beach. Let's put it that way. The move comes after the Sixers shocked the NBA by trading for Jaylen Brown and sending Paul George 2 first-round draft picks and 2 second-round draft picks to the Celtics. James is one of the most decorated athletes in history. He made his 22nd straight All-Star game last year and averaged 20 points, 20.9 points, 7.2 assists. How do you get 0.2 of an assist? 6.1 rebounds. I don't know a whole lot about basketball. Over 60 games. The 41-year-old, he's almost my age. But I'm only 5'10", so I guess that's the issue. He opted to leave Los Angeles this summer and seek another opportunity to play for a championship contending team. Do we have any word Do we know yet how many of his children we're going to have to sign to NBA contracts? Because that's what they had to do in L.A. They had to sign his kid, who isn't any good, to a contract. I'm just curious if we have to sign any of his children or his parents, maybe to a family. They can play in the G League, but to some sort of a contract. But LeBron James is now coming to Philadelphia, taking his talents, as he would say, and just desperately trying to catch Michael Jordan when it comes to the number of titles he has. So there you go. Big breaking news going on out there. All right, it's 3:08 now. If you're heading out the door, keep an eye on how you're driving. And I hate it when they do this, by the way. I hate it when they have periods of time where they decide to enforce the laws. The laws are on the books always, but we're only going to enforce them really during these periods of time. PennDOT, state police, and local law enforcement are launching a crackdown on aggressive driving starting today along Route 1 in Philly, Montgomery, Delaware, and Chester counties. The safety partners, along with 80 other municipal agencies, will be on the lookout for drivers causing dangers on the roadway. Now, I guess they aren't usually? Is that what it is? I guess they aren't usually, and it's like now it's special time. So now, because it's special time, we're going to actually start enforcing the traffic laws out there. And then they tell people they're going to do it. I've got a weird idea. I tend to think outside the box. Why don't we just always enforce the traffic laws? Why don't we just always do that? And then less people will die. You know, Philadelphia actually leads all major cities in this country. These numbers came out today, too, or yesterday. Philadelphia leads all major cities in the entire country significantly in the number of deadly crashes per 100,000 people. It's like, almost 10. I have the number here. Let me see if I can find it here. But it's Philly leads for traffic fatalities per 100,000. Philly has 9.04. Only 0.04 of you have died. Still counts, but just so you know. Chicago has 7.15. Washington, D.C. has 4.73. Boston has 3.64. And New York City has 2.86. None of those numbers are fair because in D.C., they murder you before you get to your car. You're actually walking to your car. They murder you before they get there. But still, the deadly crashes, Philly is far and away, almost 2 extra deaths per 100,000 when it comes to the major cities. And now they're telling us, today we've decided, for a brief period of time, we're going to actually start enforcing the traffic laws. So yay us. Personal pat on the back there. Now, according to PennDOT District 6 Executive Din Abazi, he says many of us see it firsthand every day. But we don't enforce it every day. We're only going to enforce it today. Tomorrow, we're going to enforce it. We're actually starting today. The road racer, the distracted driver, the tailgater, the frequent lane changer, and those who run red lights. But we're going to start enforcing that today for a little while. Not always, because that would be crazy if we would enforce the traffic laws every day. But we're going to start enforcing those today and for a brief period of time. Roosevelt Boulevard in Philadelphia frequently makes the list of the most dangerous U.S. highways, this is according to PennDOT. They'll use strategies such as traffic enforcement zones. I'm sure there's more to it than this. I'm sure I'm just being ridiculous. But when I was taught to drive, when I was 16 and I was taught to drive, it was my understanding, and apparently it was wrong, but it was my understanding that you could get, that all zones were traffic enforcement zones, right? That all zones were places that the policemen were going to stop you if you sped. If you didn't stop for a stop sign, if you ran a red light, if you tailgated, if you did. I thought all zones where a car would go are traffic enforcement zones. I didn't know it was like hide and seek, where if you go over this area, you're safe, and they won't pull you over. And I believe that the way they're describing it is true because I will admit this. I am a horrible driver. And I'm not getting better as I get older. If anything, I'm getting worse. I can be aggressive. I will flip you off. I don't carry weaponry or anything like that, and I never find anybody because I'm 5'10". I'm 185 pounds soaking wet. Nobody is going to be intimidated me. So I stay in the safety of my car, but still, I'll speed. I will switch lanes. I'll go around people if I think they're being naughty, all that kind of stuff. And I haven't gotten a ticket since 2003 when I was driving through St. Louis, because I don't know how many of you realize this. St. Louis sucks. So they gave me a ticket. But either way, I just assumed that all areas were traffic enforcement zones, but they say they're going to use strategies such as traffic enforcement zones, saturation patrols. Oh, yeah, it's just like a lot of patrols. Is that what that would be? Speed enforcement details. Again, I thought everybody just, if you sped in front of a cop, you could get a ticket. There's so little I understand about police work. Maybe you should go on a ride-along again. Last time I did, it was scary. But corridor enforcement, so we're only going to do it during this enforcement, work zone enforcement, and multi-jurisdictional patrols to identify and cite aggressive drivers. So it's going to be, I guess they're going to trade off with other zones, whatever. According to Sergeant Bill Kleinkert, he says, you see, there's red and blue lights out there, and you may not see us, but we're always out there, and we're always watching. Always watching. Monsters Inc. Anybody? No? Okay. But anyway, Sergeant Bill Kleinkert with the Philadelphia Police Department. They're always watching, but apparently they're not always giving tickets, because we only enforce the traffic laws during brief periods of time here or there. Must be a union contract thing. Otherwise, we just get crazy on the roads, and we can't have that. But he goes on to say, so I would be careful as to what you're doing, how you're traveling, and keep your aggressive tendencies down. We won't have to worry about meeting face to face. That sounds like a threat. I think it might be, actually. I'm not afraid of meeting cops face to face. But again, I wouldn't have a problem acknowledging that I'm a bad driver, by the way, and I am. But acknowledging that I'm a bad driver, I acknowledge that not just to you, but I do that to myself too. Because when I get pulled over, I'm not going to argue or get mad. I'm not going to worry about meeting a policeman face to face. But I'm just going to shrug and get my ticket. Although I did get out of the last ticket that they tried to give me. I did get pulled over, and I have gotten pulled over. But I think I get a pass a lot because I haven't had a ticket since 2003. But I got pulled over in an area. It was 45 miles an hour was the speed limit, and there were no other cars around. I wasn't paying any attention. I wasn't trying to speed. I wasn't paying any attention. But I was driving, and I got pulled over, and the guy pulled me over. He goes, do you know what the speed limit is? And I said, not off the top of my head, no. And he said, it's 45 miles per hour. Do you know how fast you were going? And I said, 46? And he laughed. And he said, no, you're going about 57. But he said, that was funny. So I'm just going to give you a warning. So I made the policeman laugh. And because I made the policeman laugh, I did not get a ticket. I am not an attractive woman. Woman is the singular. I am not an attractive woman. Therefore, I cannot jiggle my way out of a ticket or smile or wink or flirt or anything like that. If I do, it's weird. So I have to use the gifts God gave me. And in that particular case, I was a little amusing. Now, this is all part of a larger campaign to reduce aggressive driving-related crashes. But we're only doing it temporarily. Remember that. We only care about reducing these crashes for a little while. And we got other things to do. But they want to reduce aggressive driving-related crashes, injuries, and fatalities on roadways throughout the Philadelphia region, but only for a little while. According to 2025 PennDOT crash data, there were 2,190 aggressive driving crashes, resulting in 37 fatalities and 114 suspected serious injuries. Wait, it's a suspected serious injury? Can't they check on that? And by the way, I would suggest to you that that number is low, because I think when people are aggressive driving and they're acting like jackasses, and you get more than one of them, I think they drive away and deal with it. And I think that happens. I don't know how much, but I think that happens a lot. So I would suggest to you that the number of crashes for aggressive driving is probably more, but no cops saw it. And then once you're mad at each other and then you get in a crash and now you've damaged your car because you were an idiot, I think people get mad at themselves and they drive away. Not always, but I think that does happen. But so the 2,190 aggressive driving crashes, the fatalities, all of these were happening in Bucks, Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, and Philadelphia counties. These campaigns have been launched across the state before. And law enforcement says they do see a difference. Then again, why aren't we doing it all of the time? Why don't we just always enforce the law? I'm always drawing a blank on that. I've asked that question 100 billion times on the radio across this country. Anytime something like this comes up, why aren't we always enforcing the traffic laws? And by the way, also, why are you telling people that you're enforcing the traffic laws? That's like the police announcing, yeah, there's a speed check over here. Don't tell people. Don't tell them what's happening. Because the really bad people will avoid you. Keep it a secret. Just do the work, and that's how you catch the bad ones instead of just the stupid ones, even though they're all stupid. According to PSP Lieutenant Thomas Falcon, that is an awesome name. And Tom Falcon, that's porn star superhero level name. And I got to live through this life with Casey Bartholomew. Good Lord. Anyway, Thomas Falcon said, and there is a statistical correlation from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration with a reduction in crashes after enforcement measures. Again, just always enforce the traffic laws. Just always do it. If you always do it, then maybe we'll see a decline in this kind of stuff because people suck out there driving. I have lived all over this country, all right? I've lived absolutely all over the country. And I can remember driving as a very young guy before cell phones became text machines and that kind of stuff. And things have gotten a lot worse, a whole lot worse. People look at their phones. You can tell they're looking at their phones because they're zipping back and forth. If you honk at them to get them to pay attention, which I have done, you get the finger and they get very angry because you tried to stop them from killing somebody. People want to kill, I believe. It's inherent. It's in our nature. These people want to kill. So if you honk at them to try to get them to pay attention, they get very, very upset with you. But they tell you, and it really is a cell phone thing. There's always bad drivers. I think it really is a cell phone thing because people get caught on their cell phones. And like I said, they get mad. But they give you pointers, shall we say. They say don't engage with aggressive drivers. Well, sometimes you can't help it. Honestly. I've had people brake check me. I've had people zip over in my lane where my car was still there. And they were trying to hit me. And there's not a whole lot. You got to engage with that. You don't have to get aggressive with them, but you got to slam on your brakes, do something. There's got to be some level of engagement. But either way, they say get out of their way and stay as far away as possible. Not always easy. You could be on 95 and you can't turn around, and there's not always a place to get right off. Otherwise, you would avoid those people. Do not engage or challenge the driver in any way, but my manlyhood. I heard that. Stay relaxed, avoid eye contact, and ignore rude gestures. I have found, and look, do what they're saying. Absolutely do what they're saying. But it has been my experience that when you don't look at them, when they don't get the satisfaction of you seeing them give you the finger, they get more angry. That has been my experience. By the way, the worst drivers, just like the worst football team, the worst drivers are in Dallas. It's like those people just walked up to the first car they saw after arriving on planet Earth and then are just figuring it out as they go. Those people are the worst drivers ever. Let's see. Stay relaxed, avoid eye contact. Don't block the passing lane if you're driving slower than most of the traffic. That should be, look, I don't care if you get aggressive with those people. I'm not advocating it, but those people, I've driven cross country a lot. And when you get into the major interstates, and there's a long stretch, and then you come up there, and it's why are we going so slow? And you get to a turn, and there's one car in front, and 15 cars behind it, all stacked up. That person who's too stupid to get out of the way, You shouldn't shoot them. But give them anything like that, because those people suck of the highest order. But yeah, you shouldn't follow or pursue any vehicle as well. You're asking for trouble if you do that. And you or a passenger may call the police. I thought the police were out there well, that's right. They only do it sometimes. You or a passenger may call police, but if you use a cell phone, pull over to a safe location. If you can, note the license plate and a description of the car. Now, this initiative to temporarily enforce the traffic laws only runs from now through August 16th. So it's only going, what's the date today? The 24th. So it's only going 3 weeks. So it's a 3-week window where they're going to, I hate to put it this way, but it's a 3-week window when they're going to do their jobs. It's a 3-week window where they're going to pull people over and watch for people and actually, what do they do the rest of the year? There's a 3-week period where they're actually going to do their jobs. What do they do the other 49 weeks? Are they just sitting around scratching themselves? Do they have to be blatant about it before they do something? Now they're actually going to do something about it? Is that what I have to do? I'm legitimately curious about this. And I also don't understand why you tell the general public that you're going to be out there. I guess it's a warning thing so that people will keep their heads cool. But if you tell them we're going to start enforcing the traffic laws today, and it's happening today, and then on August 16th, we're going to stop. Do you think that's going to, that may save somebody for those 3 weeks, but the person you saved is still going to be alive to murder somebody 3 weeks from now. Again, just always enforce the traffic laws. Doesn't make any sense to me. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. In saying that out loud, I realize that my life is completely vapid and empty. I don't understand. But either way, I watch a lot of YouTube videos, and you can find the ones of road rage, and they're funny to watch. But one thing that's happening, I do not have one of these, but a lot of people have these dash cameras now. They like attach, they're magic. So this is how they do it. I think they attach to your rear view mirror, and then they watch anything. And I'll watch these things. Again, I have a meaningless life. But I'll watch these things, and I'll see people doing all sorts of crazy stuff, like ridiculous stuff. And now I realize that the reason they're allowed to get away with it is because we only enforce the traffic rules sometimes. And I guess these were in one of the windows where we weren't enforcing the traffic rules. But either way, they do this. They have these traffic cameras, and you can see all the stupidity going on. You can see all the epic stupidity that these people who are driving around acting like idiots are. You can also see, by the way, the person who's playing the victim. Somebody will turn out, and they'll have more than enough time to slow down or stop. And they don't, and they start honking around and slamming on their brakes and giving the finger and all that kind of stuff. So the victim is not always the innocent person there. And that might be why I don't get one of these cameras, because they constantly record while your car is on. And then from what I've heard, what the people say is, hey, whatever, I think it's Garmin. Hey, Garmin, save the last recorder, or save the last 2 minutes or something like that. I don't know. And that's how it saves it. But the thing is always recording, and then I guess it just deletes things. And I do, I'll sing in my car. I have phone conversations in my car. I talk to myself in my car. It's just a lot of things I don't want documented. So I don't think I'll get one of those. Loudly and bad music I sing along to. All right. So I don't think I'll ever get one of those things, but those things could be pretty helpful if you really feel like you're in danger. And again, Philly has the most deadly car crashes far and away of any major city in the entire country. Like 9 per 100,000, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is, statistically speaking. But if you're worried about the quality of driver around here, if you're worried about the bad things they're doing, and you find yourself in one of those 49-week vast windows where law enforcement isn't enforcing the laws, then it might be worth picking one of those things. I don't know how much they cost, but it might be worth picking something like that up, because then at least you have a record of it, right? At least you have a record of your murder. Your family will get some satisfaction, I guess. But if somebody hits you, because what they had a lot, like I said, in Dallas, they're the worst drivers ever. I swear to God in heaven. Driving should be outlawed in that godforsaken city. But they had a lot of people, a lot of illegal aliens there, a lot of people who would slow down on the freeway and then throw it into reverse and back into people and then jump out of their cars and go, "What did you do? You hit me. Oh my gosh." And that you would see the person go, "I got a camera. It was all recorded. I got a camera right here." And they get back in their car and they speed away because they got fake plates on their cars too. That's usually that way that works. At least from my experience when I lived and worked there and was miserable and hot and I hated everybody. But that's what's going on. But if you have ever had any experiences with the aggressive drivers, I've not had anything big. I've had people flip me off. I had a guy throw I was driving, it was outside of Las Vegas in the desert. So it was pitch black. And this guy drove up. There's 2 lanes. I was on Interstate 15. It's 2 lanes. And the guy could have gotten in the left-hand lane and gone around me. He drove up on me and slowed down and drove up on me and slowed down and flashed his high beams and all that stuff. And then he finally went around me. And his buddy in the passenger seat stuck a can of Budweiser out of his car and threw it up in the air, and it landed on the back of my car. This is a rental car, so I didn't really care. And at the time, they weren't that picky when it came to rental cars, but all because the guy just wouldn't switch lanes and go around me. That's probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me. Never had anybody stop me or, I've never had a gun pointed at me while I was driving. I have in other places, but either way. But if you've ever had anybody particularly aggressive stop you or try to mix it up with you or have any kind of issue with them, I would like to hear the stories because they are going to start enforcing it. But they're only going to do it for a very brief period of time. It's only going to be for the next 3 weeks. And I think after that, they're going to start enforcing the murder laws. I think they're going to look for murderers after that for 3 weeks, and then they'll stop, and then they'll move on to other things. 855-839-1210 is the number here. That's 855-839-1210. My name is Casey Bartholomew. I'm sitting in today. It's 3:30 rather. You're listening to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
When it comes to our cars, those infotainment screens, turbos, advanced transmissions, and cameras are all great until they fail. And if your car is out of warranty, repairing them can cost thousands. I'm Danica Patrick. If your car is less than 20 years old, no matter the mileage, make sure you're covered for auto repair bills with an auto protection plan from Endurance. They've paid out hundreds of millions in claims and helped drivers with plans that cover engine, drivetrain, electrical system, transmission, and more. Endurance gives you straightforward claims processing and direct payment to your certified mechanic. And your rate won't go up no matter how many claims you file. When your check engine light comes on, don't ignore it because you're worried about a big auto repair bill. Call Endurance and choose the plan that's right for you. Act now and get 1 year of elite benefits, a $2,000 value, free.
For your fast free quote, call 800-689-1536. 800-689-1536. 800-689-1536.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at EnduranceWarranty.com.
Hey, it's Jen Hatmaker. Here's what I've learned in midlife. Joy isn't the reward you earn after all the work is done. Joy is the work. That's what this new series on For the Love is all about. The sacred yes. It's choosing delight, rest, and pleasure on purpose. Because saying yes to yourself, that's the thing that finally lets you fill your table with everybody else. Come find your sacred yes with me. Follow and listen to For the Love wherever you get your podcasts.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by LensSeek.
Meta Platforms is reportedly close to producing its own AI processors as the company looks to ramp up its computing power. Reuters reports that Mark Zuckerberg wants Meta's computing power to double to 14 gigawatts next year, which amounts to 20% of current global data center capacity. The report says Meta is working with Broadcom on the chip design and Taiwan Semiconductor for manufacturing, with production beginning in September. I'm Jason Brooks.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
For more expert appliance shopping advice, here's National Appliance Warehouse's own appliance guru.
Hello, let's talk premium. These are the top-of-the-line appliances that dream kitchens are made of. If you're planning an investment like this in your home, where you buy is as important as what you buy. At National Appliance Warehouse, we're committed to delivering the superior buying experience you deserve. Our showroom features beautifully displayed premium appliances of every major brand, including highly sought-after Monogram appliances. Our team of gurus is well-versed at guiding you as you navigate the same appliances you'd find in the most magnificent homes and the kitchens of cooking enthusiasts. And the National Appliance Warehouse team has the expertise to properly deliver and install your stunning new appliances.
Celebrate Christmas in July and save at National Appliance Warehouse. Elevate everything and save on Monogram appliances. Featuring sophisticated luxury and understated durability, you'll love expertly engineered and purposefully designed Monogram appliances. Click nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their showroom in tax-free Wilmington today.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for autopay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Tune in to the Crash Proof Retirement Show Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Joanne Small-Canella and Tracy Stillman. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT from the Piazza Auto Group Studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations.
.335 Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Casey Bartholomew. I'm with you until 6 o'clock. That'll be when Rich Zioli comes on. 855-839-1210 is the number here. It's 855-839-1210. This was a, well, not an interesting, well, I guess it's an interesting story, but it rang true, especially most recently for my family. A former mail carrier has been identified as a suspect in a Home Depot credit card fraud investigation. This is according to the Hatboro Police Department. Police said an investigation led to the identification of 32-year-old Rashawn McCall. Investigators said McCall was employed as a mail carrier at the time of the alleged crime, giving him access to residents' mail. When I was growing up, we were taught that, like, messing with the mail, they will drag you out into the street nude and beat you in the public square. If you lost your life because that's how sacred the mail was. Now it doesn't seem that sacred. Now people steal it off porches and the mailman just looks, I kind of want that, and takes it. I know. I saw. This is back in the day before the internet was really big. I was working in Orlando, Florida, and where my house was situated, there was there was a lot of room in between the houses. So the mail guy would always park in between my house and the house next door, which was a ways away. And I would go out, and I saw him reading the Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue in his car, and I'm like, "There's no way that that's his. In fact, it very well could have been mine, and I was a little suspect later that night when I got home and it was in the mailbox. I tried to look for fingerprints or anything else. Anyway, so, but you just thought, okay, that's fine. He's reading a new magazine. That's fine. The words don't change. So that's okay. I guess now it's not that big of a deal when it comes to the mail. And as investigators continued the case, Hatboro police are asking residents to come forward if they were expecting a credit or debit card in the mail during the past 2 months, but never received it. Anyone who lives in Hatboro and believes a credit or debit card may have been stolen from the mail is asked to contact police. Police said the information from potential victims could help investigators identify additional cases of mail theft and fraudulent activity. It baffles me. Why would you even think you could get away with that? One, I mean, we'll get more into this, but why would you even think you could get away with that? Right? We sent you a credit card in the mail. We sent several people in this one area credit cards in the mail, and it was all on this one guy's mail route, and several of them disappeared. I wonder if there's any way we can crack this one and determine who might have taken all the credit cards in this one area on this one mail carrier's route. It's a mystery. There's no DNA. How do we solve this one? I have a theory. And of course they were able to find it. Of course they were. I don't know what the punishments are for identity theft, stealing credit cards and everything like that. I would think that if you're a mail carrier, they should be especially severe. The aforementioned beating in the town square. But I don't think they actually do that. Take a limb. Like a pinky or something. Toes. People always think you can't do anything. There's no big deal if you lose your toes. You wouldn't be able to balance yourself, stand up. That could cause some real problem. Just fantasizing. But either way, I want to know if you've ever had your identity stolen in any way. Somebody ever got a hold of your credit cards in any way? Because I got a story that just happened to a family member of mine. But if you want to chime in, 855-839-1210 is the number here. That's a sacred trust that's been violated. The mail guy, when I was growing up, I knew the mail guy's name. Don. His name was Don. And the entire time I was a little kid, Don delivered the mail. I mean, until I was about 12, Don was our mail guy. And I think we moved in there when I was 2 or 3. And Don was the mail guy. And if you saw Don down the street, he would say hi to you and tell you never stop because he had stuff to do. But he always like, say, hi, how you doing? Don't you start school soon? He's the nicest guy. I never imagined, I don't know what happened to Don. Maybe Don was dragged away from stealing Sears credit cards or something. There was no Home Depot back then. But either way, I don't remember any controversy with Don stealing anything or anything like that. Now, I don't think we get the same mail person 2 days in a row where I live. So I'm not even sure if that's a thing anymore. But you would think that it would be pretty severe to steal credit cards from your mail route. At least I hope it would. 855-839-1210 is the number. That's 855-839-1210. And again, this comes up because my mother-in-law, who has, well, this all happened in Chicago, okay? My mother-in-law does not live in Chicago. My mother-in-law has not visited Chicago. In fact, when this was going on, she actually told me, I haven't been to Chicago in years and years and years. And the last time she was to switch planes, was the last time she was in Chicago. Now, Chicago is peopled with criminals, so you need to know that. They're all murderers there. But either way, I apparently do a little light thievery as well. But she got a phone call last week saying that one of her credit cards had been flagged because it had been used to purchase a $400 Apple gift card and about $2,000 worth of electronics. And they asked her if it was her, and she said no. And they were mad because somebody had just purchased a gift card, but a bunch of I think they could do something about the gift card, but some actual electronics were purchased as well. And so they, they're never happy about it if that happens, but they canceled everything out and they sent her a new card and they admonished her to be a little more responsible with her credit card. And she said to the woman on the phone, my credit card is in my hand. I'm holding it right now. They didn't use my credit card. And they went back and forth for a minute. And so she gets off the phone. Day later, she gets a phone call from a different credit card company. And the different credit card company said, "Hi, this is so-and-so. Have you been to Chicago recently?" And she said, "No, I just had a problem there the other day." And she said, "Well, with your credit card, somebody bought," and this was what I thought was weird. And I don't know if there's anything to this. I watch a lot of procedural TV, so I'm kind of a junior detective. But this place also bought a $400 Apple gift card. Now, I don't know if that's like a trigger amount. I don't know if over 400, it's a thing. I don't know if you're only allowed to buy 400 at once for a Apple gift card. I don't know why, but two separate credit cards, two $400 Apple gift cards. And there may be nothing to it. It may just be what they did. And then they got on with their day. And they also bought some furniture. So they're buying TVs, electronics, furniture. I think they bought a love seat for $600, and they asked $600 and like some chairs or something like that. And they asked her, and they said, "Did you do this?" She goes, "I haven't been here." And they were annoyed because they have to cover that, right? They have to, she didn't do anything, so they have to take care of that. And they did. And again, she got the admonishment. You need to be a little more secure. My mother-in-law is very secure with her credit. She has one of those RF wallets. It's kind of funny looking. I always make fun of her for it. But and I guess I am justified in it because it didn't work very well, is what I'm thinking. But either way, she has one of these RF wallets, and you just everything goes in your wallet, and they're not the readers, because they can walk up next to you and like read your credit cards through your wallet or your purse if you're a woman. And her credit cards are all in there, but they still managed to get them. And so they admonished her, and she said again, "I am holding my credit card. The credit card is in my hand. It was not in Chicago. It didn't hop a flight to Chicago. It's not there." And so they said, okay. And they X'd everything out, and they next date her a new credit card, and they had to take care of everything. But the fact that she had her credit card, it's like, how is anybody getting this? I've never had my ID stolen. I've never had a credit card stolen. That's never happened to me. So, I've been lucky. I think it's because of what I do for a living. There was a long period of time where on paper I really didn't exist. Things have gotten easier now, and it's, a little easier to be safe and just different things you can do. But there was a long time at the start of my career. I used to get a lot of death threats, and I was stalked a couple of times. But I really didn't exist on paper. If you were hard pressed to find me. It was possible, but you really, and this was before the internet really took off. You had to work hard to find me if you wanted to. If I died, nobody would have known or cared. Because I really didn't exist on paper a lot of places. So I've been lucky enough not to have that. Now I think it could happen. Now I think it could probably happen because of the different ways, but there's more security out there too. But either way, if you've ever had your identity stolen, I would love to hear about it. Anybody got a hands on a credit card or anything? 855-839-1210 is the number here. That's 855-839-1210. We'll take your phone calls, getting some other stuff coming up. My name is Casey Bartholomew. It is 3:46. You're listening to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
Is life insurance still on your list from earlier this year? Now is the perfect time to just get it done. A buddy told me that securing life insurance sooner rather than later can help you lock in lower rates for years to come. So I added this to my list this year and got it done. I called SelectQuote and was shocked at how easy and affordable life insurance is. I'm 40 and got a $500,000 policy for $18 a month. My wife's also 40, and her $5,000 policy was only $16 a month. Plus, with SelectQuote's same-day coverage, no medical exam was required, and we were covered by the time we hung up. Checking this off my list felt great, but the peace of mind knowing my family is protected feels even better.
Call SelectQuote at 1-800-280-5858 for your free quote today. That's 1-800-280-5858. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-280-5858. Details on example rate at SelectQuote.com.
Life doesn't slow down, and planning your financial future can feel overwhelming. That's where Monastra Financial Group comes in. Whether you're preparing for retirement, managing a 401k, or protecting what matters most, their team offers personalized guidance built around you. With a straightforward approach, they help turn complex decisions into clear, confident steps forward. Take control of your financial future today. Text Mike Monastra at 484-471-4879. That's 484-471-4879.
There's a moment when performance becomes unstoppable. Because once you've found your drive, ordinary just isn't enough. The versatile BMW X3 turns ambition into action. The X5 boasts unrivaled comfort and confidence. And the iconic 3 Series delivers pure exhilaration. Why settle when greatness is within reach? The BMW Ultimate Sales Event on now.
Visit BMW of Westchester on Route 202 for a personalized test drive today.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hey, Westchester. We know your favorite station is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
.350 Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. My name is Casey Bartholomew. I am sitting in today. I'll be with you until 6 o'clock. Stick around after the news at 6, and that will be when Rich Zioli comes on. 855-839-1210 is the number here. That's 855-839-1210. This aggravated me to no end. We mock the snowflake sort of mentality these days, but this actually annoyed the hell out of me. Money is soon going to be zooming into Laura Tate's front door as the anxious work-from-home travel consultant successfully sued her ex-employer for forcing her to be on camera during a business video call, and that apparently infringed on her disability rights. Her disability rights. Apparently, not wanting to be on camera is a disability. A court recently shouldn't drink before the show. A court recently ruled Tate's former company, Holiday Extras, a vacation service, failed to adequately provide reasonable adjustments to suit her anxiety. They let her work at home. They let her sit at home in her PJs, scratching herself. And God forbid she get on a video. I'm too anxious. Good Lord. Do you freaking people who get so sad, I'm going to work at home and it's present, I'm not being respected and I'm not being seen. And do you realize that back in the day, they would have told you to shut up and fired you? In fact, I believe they did here. And you just would have had to take it. Now it's like, I have to be on a business call, a video business call where everybody is on. I mean, unless you have a giant growth on your face, Unless you got like a big hairy mole growing out the side of your cheek that makes everybody throw up in their mouth a little bit, you got to be on the video call when they tell you to. But no, I can't do that because I'm disabled. You get anxious when hey, I got an idea. If you're anxious on video calls, get off your fat, entitled ass and go to work. I absolutely hate remote work. I do a lot of it, but I much prefer being there. Otherwise, I feel like I'm disconnected from everything. And this little princess now is going to get a pile of money because they had the audacity to ask her to turn her camera on a video call. I want to go around to everybody who's in Gen Z, the millennials, and I just want to smack you like hard with a bat in the side of the head. So anyway, they said it didn't provide reasonable adjustments to suit her anxiety, including the ability to join meetings with camera off and allowing her to do fewer voice calls during the workday. So if her job is only at home, because God forbid we go to work, if her job is only at home, and that means she refuses because she has anxiety being on video. I'm on video right now. I'm on YouTube right now. I'm a hideous, disgusting thing. I don't have any anxiety about it. You don't like my face? Don't look at it. But I don't know what the anxiety is. Maybe she is fat and ugly. You never know. Fat and ugly people, and you don't like it, lose weight. Wear makeup. But either way, and she won't do video calls, but she also doesn't want to do voice calls. So what exactly are you going to do? I mean, if your job is to plan travel for people, you have to be able to interact with these people. But no. She's disabled because she gets anxiety from being on video calls. The court has deemed the misstep a form of disability discrimination, awarding Tate an undetermined amount in compensation. The remote travel pro, who was hired by Holiday Extra's call center. Wait, she went to work for a call center. I didn't even catch that at first. She went to work for a call center, and she wants to do less calls. I went to work for a radio station. I'd like to be on the radio less. Can we work that out? I just want to stand in the corner, scratch myself, that kind of stuff. No, she just wants to, she went to work for the call center and doesn't want to do calls. And because they said, well, it's a call center, it's right there in the name. So if you don't want to do it, I'm afraid we have no use for her. They discriminated against her, which makes absolutely no sense to me. But anyway, she went to work for the call center in 2021, reportedly informed the job that work-induced stress had triggered a string of absences. Oh, Muffin, I'm so sorry. Triggered a string of absences related to anxiety by April of 2022. So just under a year. She was there for under a year. And she was so stressed out by having to take phone calls in the call center that she was informing her employers that she can't do that anymore or has to do less of it. Now, the reoccurring absences continued until Tate officially requested emergency time off due to burnout. So she wants her job held, the job that she doesn't want to do, held so that she can take some time off because 11 months in, she was burnt out. She doesn't want to, if she works for the call center, she doesn't want to do video calls because she gets anxiety. And she also doesn't want to do voice calls from the call center because, again, it gives her anxiety. And her employers wouldn't accommodate her request because it is, and I'm going to use a legal term here if anybody would like to look this up. It comes in handy sometimes. But the fact that she didn't want to take phone calls and didn't want to take video calls from the call center because it gave her anxiety is stupid. Look at that. STUPID, not two O's. I made that mistake too. But anyway, that's the type of idiot that we're working with these days. All right, speaking of idiots, worker pot use is on the rise. We're going to talk about that coming up. I'm Casey Bartholomew, sitting in today. It's 3:57 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
The Bloomberg Market Minute, sponsored by Piazza Auto Group. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks have been fluctuating as investors worry a bit about tech, but also look at some positive earnings reports overall. President Trump threatening new tariffs on goods from the EU in retaliation for a $1 billion fine of Google. Meantime, two small businesses suing the Trump administration over the new tariffs that just went into effect overnight. Waymo exploring options to exit its partnership with Uber. Financial Times says Waymo has held internal talks about ending deals with Uber. Waymo's already notified Uber it plans to enter the markets independently in 2028 when their contract allows. Ford recalling more than 500,000 Broncos. A wiring harness can short circuit and increase the risk of fire. Broncos and Bronco Raptors, model years 2021 to 26, included in the recall. And Fireball Cinnamon Whiskey launching limited edition high tops with a compartment for its new Stash Flask Pouch Whiskey. It has capacity for 4 shots. Denise Pellegrini, Bloomberg Radio.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless-like syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks, like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 267-223-7162 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. Call 267-223-7162 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 267-223-7162 for fast, easy, and affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinic treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 267-223-7162.
Enjoy the comfort of endless hot water with a Bradford White tankless water heater. Bradford White tankless water heaters provide continuous hot water on demand. So whether you're the first person to shower or the fifth, the water will stay perfectly hot the whole time. It's performance you can count on and peace of mind for years of reliability that comes from choosing Bradford White. So ask your plumbing professional about going tankless with a Bradford White tankless water heater. Visit BradfordWhite.com to learn more.
Without VA, I would have paid $25,000 for my hospital stay,
$42,000 for my education,
$74,000 for my home down payment. But because of my service, I paid $0.
Get what you earn. Visit choose.va.gov.
Not all veterans are eligible for the type or amount of benefits mentioned here.
Giving blood is easy. It only takes about an hour, and a single donation can help save up to 3 lives. Donate now. Call 1-800-RED-CROSS or redcrossblood.org.
From ABC News, I'm Stephanie Officer. Hope Gray, the teen accused of killing 2 teachers and 2 students in the 2024 Appalachia High School shooting in Georgia, has pleaded guilty to all 55 charges in court this morning.
Mr. Gray, you understand all 55 charges? Yes, Your Honor. And you understand that you would be pleading guilty to the entire indictment today, is that right? Yes, Your Honor.
The 16-year-old now faces a minimum life sentence. A jury in March convicted Gray's father, Colin, on charges of second-degree murder and involuntary manslaughter after reportedly giving his son the rifle he later used in the massacre. Taylor Farms is out with an update regarding their lettuce in the midst of the current cyclosporiasis outbreak. The company says they have suspended sourcing and production of iceberg lettuce in central Mexico. Taylor Farms previously issued a voluntary recall. As of July 19th, the FDA says there have been no positive cyclospora results associated with the company. The outbreak has spread to 9 states, with Michigan reporting the most cases, nearly 8,200. Today, the DOJ announced 11 indictments in the deaths of 7 migrants who died from extreme heat after being locked in a cargo train container 2 months ago. U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Texas, Justin Simmons, said an investigation found 6 bodies when the train arrived in Laredo, Texas, and were connected with another found in San Antonio.
There was one individual inside that then fell out of the car. They left that individual for dead there by the tracks in San Antonio, closed the door to the container, and sent the train on its way. The train ultimately ending up in Laredo, Texas, where the other 6 bodies were found.
President Trump calling it a, quote, hot ticket. Tonight's White House Correspondents' Dinner, that is. It's a redo from April's event, which saw an intruder with weapons blow past security, allegedly aiming to kill Trump. Tonight's Nerd Prom at D.C.'s Waldorf Astoria will see tighter security and a shorter guest list. You're listening to ABC News.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments, just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
These days, heading back to school means more than pencils and notebooks. It means laptops, tablets, online accounts, and a lot of personal information moving across the internet. WebRoot Total Protection gives families powerful online defense tools with antivirus, VPN, cloud backup, identity protection, and more, helping keep your digital life secure throughout the school year and beyond. Go to webroot.com/radio and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/radio for 60% off. Live a better digital life with WebRoot, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
A former NFL quarterback is in some hot water after an arrest last night, accused of driving under the influence. Former Dallas QB Tony Romo was arrested just after 6:15 Thursday evening in Milwaukee. A county sheriff's office arrest detention report states Romo performed poorly on standardized field sobriety tests. He was booked and released around 11 p.m. ABC News has reached out to Romo's reps for comment. He's scheduled to appear in court September 21st. Well, this week, an FDA panel is discussing whether people can access peptides. Peptides are substances getting major traction on social media where influencers claim their health benefits. But no concrete data says using or injecting peptides can lead to better health outcomes. The talks include whether the peptides can be purchased at pharmacies with a prescription. ABC News medical contributor Dr. Alok Patel.
So essentially what the FDA panel is trying to do is basically put peptides on the 503A bulk compounding list. That does not mean FDA approved. That's an important distinguish for the public. What this means is that the raw ingredients can be legally made by compounding pharmacies, and then a physician may be able to prescribe from the compounding pharmacy.
R&B singer Nivea has shared her leukemia diagnosis while on an episode of the online series Cadillac Chronicles. In a statement, the 44-year-old tells ABC News she was diagnosed earlier this year and is grateful it was not blastoma. I'm Stephanie Officer, ABC News.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments, just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
This is Jordan Lundy.
And this is Len Lundy. Lundy Law has won billions for our clients.
But more importantly, we've won the trust and confidence of thousands of people injured in motor vehicle crashes, slip and fall accidents, and work-related injuries.
My son and I hope we never meet you because of an accident. But if we do, we're here for you.
Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyers. Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit lundylaw.com for a free consultation.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. With honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be shared with friends or family. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Free speech lives here. Lives here. The WPHT Afternoon Show.
406 Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Casey Bartholomew. I'm sitting in today. I'll be with you until 6 o'clock. That'll be when Rich Zioli comes on. 855-839-1210 is the number here. That's 855-839-1210. More and more potheads out there, which was to be expected, by the way. I don't know what we thought was going to happen when we started legalizing pot all over the place. More and more potheads showing up all over the place and causing problems. More of them putting people's lives in danger when they drive. All that kind of stuff. And we are shocked that this happened. I am absolutely shocked that we opened the door for more people to get wasted, and they're driving irresponsibly and doing such things. Who would have thought? Whoever would have thought that that would happen? Me. I've never tried pot. I've never had a drink, so maybe I'm not the best guy to be talking about this because I can get a little judgy. I don't like. I've never had a cigarette. I've never had alcohol. I've never tried any kind of drug. I don't like the smell of things. I used to. I have a really sensitive nose, and so I don't like the smell of alcohol. So I never had a drink. I don't like cigarettes. I don't want to die, so I've never smoked a cigarette. Seemed like along the same lines. If I was going to suck a burning weed back into my lungs with marijuana, so I never tried that, and I just never tried anything else. So I am speaking from a place of physical superiority, okay, when it comes to this. Also, I was a nerd in high school, and I was never invited to any parties, especially not the ones where they did fun things or where the girls were. So I'm been married and I have 2 kids. I've still never seen a woman naked. I don't know how that works. But either way, the U.S. is on track to reach a new historic low in the... Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I read the wrong thing. That was something else. Anyway, what's happening is more and more people are using marijuana because the numbers are way up there. And because they have greater access to it. So this new report finds that nearly 1 in 5 workers tested positive for illicit drugs last year as increased marijuana use drove up, quote, persistent long-term substance abuse across the entire workforce. Quest Diagnostics found that the share of employees who tested positive on a hair screening for substances such as marijuana, cocaine, and opiates rose 13.1% in 2021 to 19.1% in 2025, all from testing hair. I do wonder about that. I'm not entirely up on all my drug testing procedures, I will be honest, but would it be possible if you're doing a hair test, would it be possible to get residue? Like if you were around somebody who was smoking pot, could that get in your hair? If you were around somebody who was doing coke, I mean, it's powder. Could that get in your hair? Would that say anything about it, or does that come from actual usage? And I honestly don't know. The nation's leading drug testing lab called cannabis the primary driver, noting that it accounted for 52.5% of positive hair tests last year. The share, I have a hot positive hair test. The older I get, the less hair I have to test, so I'm not really worried about this. But the share of marijuana-positive workers increased by 58.9% over the period, from 9.5% to 15.1% of hair tests. They said, according to Jason S. Hudson, Quest's scientific and laboratory director, he said chronic use of some drugs, like marijuana, may impair judgment, It may impair judgment, reaction time, and decision-making in ways that aren't always obvious day to day. Of course, marijuana is a depressant. It's just like alcohol. It's a depressant. Of course, it's going to slow down reaction time. Of course, it's going to impair judgment. I used to love the people who try to tell you, I actually drive better. I'm actually better at things when I'm wasted. It's not true. Statistically speaking, it's not true. You may have had one instance where you drove better, but statistically speaking, that's just a falsehood. Cocaine, by the way, pot's the main driver. Cocaine finished a distant second in positivity rates, inching up from 2.7% of all hair tests to 4.4% last year. Why is everybody doing more drugs? Maybe because things are worse out there. Who knows? The share of workers testing positive for methamphetamine, the third most common substance, rose from 2.1% to 2.5%. That's not really big enough to be significant, but more and more people are using pot. And again, of course. I mean, the idea that anybody, there's only 5 states where marijuana remains illegal under all circumstances. Those are Idaho, where nobody lives, Kansas, where the people who live there wish they didn't, Nebraska, where they're just hayseeds, Wyoming, and South Carolina. Places where you have to be high to like living, because I've lived in South Carolina, and I would agree with that. But either way, when they started legalizing marijuana especially in California, I was living there at the time, they legalized it for medicinal purposes in California, but you had to have a doctor's card. You never saw so many people get glaucoma. It happened like almost overnight. Glaucoma rate. At the time I was living out there, there was a newspaper that did a study and found like glaucoma rates in certain parts of California went up by like 80%. It was some ridiculous number. And because if people have access or can get access to it, they're going to use it. Like alcohol. People have access to alcohol, so a lot of people drink. I don't, but a lot of people do. Now, Quest found the pre-employment marijuana use increased by 49.5% last year, from 10.1% to 15.1%. Randomized workplace hair testing increased by 15% over the same period to 21%. So, I mean, there's a lot of nonsense going on here. I don't want to throw a bunch of numbers at you. But the findings did trigger alarm among health experts and pushback from marijuana enthusiasts. I have interviewed so many marijuana enthusiasts in my life. Where if you close your eyes, not while you're driving, but if you close your eyes and I say the word marijuana enthusiast and the image, whatever image comes into your mind, a guy with sort of greasy hair, probably clothes that haven't been washed, all of them to a person were like that. I'm not saying they're all like that. I'm saying all the ones I interviewed were. And so anytime I see the word marijuana enthusiast, all I can think about is those weasels. Now, according to Jerry Joyner, he's a cannabis advocate. He said, it doesn't tell us they were impaired at work. We need to be careful not to equate historical use with real-time impairment. What? It doesn't tell you that they were impaired at work. Marijuana stays in your system for up to 10 hours. So if they smoked on a day that they were working, they were impaired at work. But again, all those guys have an agenda, so it doesn't matter. I don't care if you smoke pot. It doesn't matter to me. But I care if you do things when you smoke pot. Like if you're working and you're working with like equipment or something that could endanger somebody, or if you're driving and you're smoking pot, that I care about. But if you're just sitting in your house, I couldn't care less. None of my business. Dimitri Downing, the founder of the Marijuana Industry Trade Association, said, alcohol testing generally asks, are you impaired now? Cannabis testing often asks, have you used cannabis at some point since the last season of your favorite television show? No, it doesn't. They're trying to determine if you are impaired and you are putting other people in danger. That's what it does. It's not just trying, if you've ever used cannabis. Again, health experts have said that marijuana can impair reaction time, attention, and memory for up to 10 hours after use. It's like you're talking. It's like you're talking to somebody who thought that grunge was good music, and you insult the make-believe genius of Kurt Cobain. These people you talk to get so freaked out and angry and talk to you about how he was a genius. It's the same thing. If you dare to suggest that marijuana is a depressant that does impair all the things that are reality, by the way, about marijuana, if you suggest anything like that, they get their panties in a bunch and they start screaming up, anti-pot, freedom. Shut up. And Richard Tate, founder and executive chairman of the Carrara Treatment, Wellness, and Spa rehab facility, said employers have to ask whether they're creating workplaces where people can perform at their best and where everyone around them is protected. Quest found that 5.8% of healthcare workers tested positive for drugs last year, the most in any industry. That makes me happy. Any healthcare, if I have any issue with healthcare, right? If you're smoking pot and you're taking my order at McDonald's, I don't particularly care. Usually you can tell. Potheads always think you can't. You can almost always tell. You can almost always tell their eyes are red, and sometimes they're sweating. I've seen it. Okay, but the fact that if you're, like I said, if you're taking fast food orders, I don't care. As long as I get my chicken McNuggets, I don't care what you're doing. That's fine. But I have so many issues with the medical field. And when I say issues, it's nothing that they've done. It's my personal issues, right? Terrified of needles. Blood makes me sick. When I die, it's going to be because I was too scared to go get a procedure of some kind done. All right. It's the phobia that my wife has no issue with needles and makes fun of me for, the woman who is afraid of heights and can't walk on a balcony. Okay. That would mean I can do that stuff. But either way. So if you're wasted and you're having to draw blood or give me a shot or you're assisting in some sort of medical procedure on me, that is a bit of a concern of mine. All right. But that's the highest percentage of workers. And really, if you look at that, 5.8% of healthcare workers, I mean, there's a lot of healthcare workers out there, so it's a significant number of people. Percentage-wise, it doesn't seem that big, I will say. Retail trade had the highest marijuana positivity because in the healthcare industry, they probably do have amphetamines in the healthcare because they got to stay up for 80 hours in a row and perform intricate medical procedures. But retail trade had the highest marijuana positivity at 7.6% of workers failing tests. Again, I'm going in to buy a shirt. Do I care if the guy is high? I'm ordering food at a restaurant. Do I care if the waitress looks a little skittish? That really doesn't bother me too much. If it's a problematic industry like healthcare, something like that, or if my accountant is high, and the numbers have to add it, that would cause me concern. But if it's retail, I'm not trying to be insulting here. But you do whatever you have to do to get through the day if you are living your life as a retail human. All right? You just do whatever you need to do to make life bearable. And that's okay with me. Just don't hurt anybody else, right? That being said, these people have to drive to work. So if they're driving to work and they're high, that's an issue. And we should be definitely concerned about that. If they're driving for a living and they're high, again, that is a concern because of the same type of things with alcohol. It's a depressant, it slows down reaction time, all of which could get people killed. And I don't want to die because somebody was stupid. I don't want to die because I was stupid. I want to die because somebody else was stupid. That bothers me. Maybe it's just me. Dr. Alan Masri, an addiction psychiatrist and medical director of All In Solutions, which has a network of treatment centers, said employees generally should not be intoxicated on the job. Generally? Is there an instance where being intoxicated on the job is acceptable, only generally? I mean, I guess maybe if you're a stripper and whatever it takes to get you out on that stage. But what line of work should you be intoxicated? I'm just trying to figure that out because if it's only generally, so I think workers always shouldn't be intoxicated on the job. I think no workers should be intoxicated on the job. I think if you're intoxicated on the job, that is automatic grounds for firing. Now, I could be wrong, but I don't know what job is out there that would be okay to be intoxicated or mentally impaired in some way. Maybe that's just me. He said that that applies to especially those who operate heavy or complex machinery, provide care for others, or who would otherwise pose a risk to themselves or others. So everybody, pretty much, because anybody could pose a risk, I guess. Dozens of states have legalized marijuana for medical and recreational use over the past decade, prompting the surge in usage, and that's what's happening, right? That's what everybody's doing. Everybody's you got greater access to it. They thought, the government thought, we'll get billions upon billions of tax dollars from all this stuff. And then that didn't happen because I know somebody who lives in Colorado. And what happened in Colorado, because I think they were the first ones to legalize it for recreational use, they thought they were going to get a ton of money on taxes. And they did the same thing there that they do with gasoline. Overall, state to state, and then the federal government, they legalized it, and then you could buy it, and then they taxed it back to the Stone Age. And they didn't get, and governments don't have to follow the same rules that you and I have to follow. And it doesn't matter if there's a Republican or a Democrat in charge. They don't have to follow the same rules that you and I have to when it comes to fiscal responsibility. So basically, they just make up numbers and throw them out there. So in Colorado, they thought, we have estimated, based on marijuana use and what happens out there, we have, very cautiously optimistically projected that we'll reach whatever millions or billions of dollars they thought they would get. And they didn't, because they charged so much for it that it was now legal, and people were still going to the high schools and buying it from high school kids because they didn't have to pay taxes on it. And that didn't work out. I think they've sort of gotten a little bit under control, but you're still saving money if you buy it from the kid selling loose joints at the high school football game, is what I'm told. I've never tried it. Now, legalization, according to Keith Humphreys, Stanford University psychologist, he said legalization has brought about a dramatic increase in the potency, addictiveness, and availability of cannabis. He said Quest's hair testing numbers echo population surveys that have found a large increase in the proportion of users who consume cannabis daily. Again, I say to you, duh. Of course they are. And the people who are too scared, because there's people like me, I don't want to break the law. I've never tried pot, but I don't want to break the law. If it's illegal, I'm not going to do it under any circuit. I don't care where it is. I'm not going to do it. But they've made it legal recreationally in so many places that people are now not afraid of doing it. Now there's stores everywhere, which always look really classy, by the way. They always look really, it's like, oh, okay, great. We're one of those cities. That's awesome. But that's, of course, legalizing it got more people doing it because the door was opened. And what did they think was going to happen? The AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety later reported that the percentage of Washington drivers, it's Washington State, in fatal crashes who tested positive for the psychoactive ingredient THC doubled after legalization, rising from 8.8% in 2008 to almost 18% in 2012. Regina Ali, a spokesman for AAA Mid-Atlantic, said delivery workers and others who drive for a living should treat marijuana the same as alcohol. You know what the problem with that is? They don't have a field test. There's not a reliable field test for pot drivers. People driving under the influence of marijuana. They don't have an acceptable field test right now. And since they don't have an acceptable field test, it's harder to get people who are driving under the influence of marijuana. You really got to go by what the cop can see and smell and judge, and people get mad about that. They're working on it, but I don't think it's there yet. Whereas you can tell if somebody's drinking too much. You can do the field test. You can do the tests that out there, the blood test. And I think the tests that they do have right now, and again, this was the way it was. Maybe they've they've gotten up to speed on it. But the tests they do have take a little time. And so the advocates were saying, you can't make me wait. I've got Constitution driving, blah, 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 whatever everybody says. So that's a thing that's going on out there, and that's problematic. But again, I have worked with plenty of people who have been high. I was a disc jockey at a classic rock station in the 1980s. I was a teenage kid. I was 16 years old. And I was working with these old guys. And they were the guys who'd come in with the Grateful Dead shirts. Looking at the long hair, pony, looking like you thought, and they'd be sitting in the studio just lighting one up all over the place. And I'm this little punk who's just trying to do a job. So I worked with all those guys. So I've worked with plenty of people. And again, for that type of job, it didn't really pose a major issue. All right? opening up the mic. In fact, I think it benefited them being wasted at the time, opening the mic and talking about the dead and all that kind of stuff. I think it didn't cause a big problem for these guys, and they didn't care. It wasn't a big station. This is where they were, and I think they spent most of their money on cheese sandwiches and beer, plain wrapped beer, and marijuana. But either way, it probably assisted in that job. But if you've got healthcare workers, if you've got people operating heavy machinery, construction, something like that, professional drivers, delivery drivers, truck drivers, that kind of stuff, and the amount has increased, then we need to start cracking down on that a little bit. And we have only ourselves to blame, right? People were so fired up to get this done. People were so hell-bent and fired up on getting marijuana legalized that they forgot to check to make sure we were prepared to have it done. And it was all about personal freedoms and medicinal use and everything, all that kind of stuff. And again, I don't care. If you do what you do in the privacy of your own home, as long as it's legal on the street, I don't give a damn. I only care in as much as it impacts me. And if there's people, healthcare workers, wasted and they're doing procedures on me, I care. If there's somebody who is driving a big, heavy truck down the road late at night and they're wasted, I care. If there's somebody taking my McDonald's order or whatever, Burger King, whatever, I don't care. I don't care if you're getting wasted. And we need to start being a little stricter, I think, because the numbers are going up. And so people are going to start dying, all right? Not en masse. There's not going to be spontaneous combustion or anything like that, but people are sort of dying. And nobody's going to want to accept responsibility for it, especially not the marijuana advocates. They try to redirect and look at everything else without acknowledging the absolute reality of what happens when people have greater access to illicit drugs. And we're seeing what happens when people have greater access to illicit drugs. Marijuana, methamphetamine, cocaine, all that kind of stuff. Even though pot's the only one that's legalized, when you open the door for some things, people are more than willing to move towards other things. And there's always those people out there who did pot because it was illegal and they impressed people. And now that virtually anybody can get their hands on pot, then they're going to move on to other things just so they can impress people, and that's a thing that we see happening too. All right, 855-839-1210 is the number here. That's 855-839-1210. If you want to chime in about the marijuana thing, I'd love to talk to you. If you think people are using it more, and if you think it makes people more unsafe, I would love to talk to you about that, because that's actually what's happening, so it makes it a little uncomfortable for some people. But also, when we come back, there's a population of people, and it's going to shock you, maybe not, but it's going to shock you, who are the ones leading the charge in increased gun use and gun training, gun ownership and gun training. My name is Casey Bartholomew. It is 4:30. You're listening to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Hi, this is Larry Steinhaus, and I want to let you know that I buy houses. I buy houses from people that may be a tired landlord, maybe somebody who's having trouble selling their house, or maybe someone who needs to sell their house quickly. Well, all you need to do is call 855-939-1137. That's 855-939-1137, and I promise to answer the phone and help you with your situation. That's right, your house may be cluttered. It may be a house that a relative left you, or it may just be a house you just want to get rid of. 855-939-1137.
In Philadelphia, Chase is proud to root for the home team because they're our team too. We cheer from the bleachers. and on the sidelines, we cheer for gymnasts and quarterbacks. And with more than 80 local Chase branches and 5,000 nationwide, we are right beside you, Philadelphia. Neighborhood bankers, digital tools, national strength. Chase, make more of what's yours.
JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. But at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited everything for just $35 a line. That's $35 a month for unlimited talk, text, and data. Switch to the carrier ranked #1 in network coverage and customer satisfaction and get unlimited everything for just $35 a month. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit Consumer Cellular online or in-store today. Price includes $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. Taxes and fees apply. Data speeds reduced after 35 gigabytes. Rankings done by 2025 ACSI survey.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Tech, sponsored by Ethos.
Meta Platforms is reportedly close to producing its own AI processors as the company looks to ramp up its computing power. Reuters reports that Mark Zuckerberg wants Meta's computing power to double to 14 gigawatts next year, which amounts to 20% of current global data center capacity. The report says Meta is working with Broadcom on the chip design and Taiwan Semiconductor for manufacturing, with production beginning in September. I'm Jason Brooks.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
Let me tell you something about insurance. When you sign your insurance policy, for some brokers, that's the finish line. Handshake, commission, done. Then you may not hear from them again until it's time for renewal. But your business runs all year, so do the gaps and the risk. So go to Supersure.com. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just go buy a policy online. Supersure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and your team. At Supersure.com, you can access tools like fine print facts. It'll translate your current policy into plain English so you see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth so you know what actually needs protecting. Go to Supersure.com. One super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. Supersure.com. That's Supersure.com. Paid for by Supersure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now back to the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
This is Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
No, 435, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Casey Bartholomew. I am with you until 6 o'clock. Stick around after 6. That's when Rich Dioli comes on. 855-839-1210. That's 855-839-1210. There is a particular group who is leading the charge and turning to firearms and firearms training in pretty significant amounts. And that's because there is so much anti-Semitism going on out there. There are so many Nazi-loving. I mean, the entire Democratic Party is basically becoming a Nazi organization. Hell, they tried to run a Nazi in Maine. And you know that that's the case because look at what happened. He's a Nazi. Well, we stand by him. He's a rapist. We stand by him. He raped more than one woman. All right. We'll find somebody else. So being a Nazi wasn't enough to get him off the ballot. But raping multiple women, not just one, multiple women is what it took to get their Nazi off the ballot. And when you have one of the two major parties in the country being openly anti-Semitic and basically the political wing of the Nazi party, the Democrats out there, then you got to do something to protect yourself. Well, a rise in anti-Semitism fueled by the Democratic Party is prompting Jewish Americans to seek out firearms training and self-defense resources as hate incidents reports reach historic highs. Because everybody wants to talk about how Israel bombed the West Bank. Everybody seems to forget what led to that. Everybody seems to forget the atrocities that the Jewish people have had to go through. And you've got Democrats and, their party members, their senatorial candidates, being fully in support of that stuff. In fact, tattooing it on their bodies. So the Jewish faith feels the need to protect themselves. Now, Daniel Jacobson is not due to holding a gun, but many of those he works with are. His recent clientele at Saraf Tactical ranges ranges from 18 to 83 years old, and many of them have one thing in common. They're Jewish. And since the left is going after Jews in mass, supporting Nazi senatorial candidates in mass, then I can't say that I blame them. Because they get these people all fired up. And then they take action. We saw it after October 7th, when Jewish people dared to defend themselves against anti-Semitic atrocities. We saw the anti-Semites in the Democratic Party were keeping college students from getting to their classes, blocking access to education. So everybody was just like, they're just students. They can't do anything to them. They're just students. And that's all they are. Trump's a racist. What? Where'd you get that? Okay, whatever. Jacobson said people are very aware. I would say even hyper aware of everything that's going on around them when it comes to anti-Semitism, because it's going around a lot. After the atrocious Hamas attacks in Israel on October 7th, 2023, reports of anti-Semitism exploded nationwide. Because everybody on the left was happy that Israel was being attacked and that Jewish people were being raped and murdered. So after these attacks, reports of anti-Semitism exploded nationwide. The United States saw a record number of incidents in 2023, 2024, and 2025, the most since the Anti-Defamation League began tracking them way back in 1979. This is what you're going to get. This is what happens, by the way, when you don't look at reality and you fuel the flames of people who hate for the sake of hate. And anti-Semites hate for the sake of hate. And it culminates, by the way, in electing an anti-Semitic mayor of New York City and running a Nazi, an actual Nazi, for senator in the state of Maine. And support him no matter what. Openly support him no matter what. I don't know how anything Trump does. You can hate Trump. I don't know how anything Trump will do for the rest of his presidency overshadows the entire Democratic Party coalescing around a Nazi. That makes no sense to me. But that's what happened. This is the reality we live in. Now, Jacobson, the guy who owns the Saraf Tactical gun range, said that really strikes really deep in people's hearts. They start to personify. Sorry. Reading is hard. They start to personify these attacks. It could have been me. Todd Narson founded a chapter of Locks and Loaded. I'm sorry. Locks and Loaded. That wins the internet today. Locks and Loaded. I love that. which is a Jewish shooting club with chapters across the United States. Narson said, I want every Jew and every one of our allies to know how to defend themselves. Well, you need it now. I mean, it's ridiculous what's happening. Sometimes I look at the world we live in today and I'm like, up is down, man. Up is down, right is left. Nothing makes sense anymore. I never thought I would see a day where people openly being anti-Semitic and openly attempting to harm Jewish people would be praised. I never thought I would see that. I never thought I'd see the day when a major political party would support a Nazi for Senate. I never thought I would see that. Both political parties have their shortcomings, right? Nobody's perfect, no matter what some people want you to think. Nobody's perfect. But if you would have told me either political party, I'm a good little Republican. If you'd have come to me and said, one day the Democrats are going to support a Nazi for Senate, I would have said, no, they're not. And I would have been wrong, because they did. They absolutely did. And they doubled down on it over and over and over again, which is crazy. But that's what's happening. That's the world we live in now. And the scary thing about it is that it's necessary. Jacobson said, the gun shop guy said, the bottom line is we're trying to empower people to get their freedom back, to be able to enjoy life without living in fear. And that's what happens. And when when not even just one political party, but one entire segment of the population is openly anti-Semitic and has wide-ranging support from a major political party, of course you're going to arm yourselves. Of course you are. Look what happened to our own governor. His house got firebombed. I mean, that's the kind of thing to have. That's what we're doing. That's the world we live in right now. So of course they're going to arm themselves. And when you fuel the flames, the people who are going to take that kind of action get all excited. Remember when the Democrats started, you need to attack, you need to assault, the exact wording of everything. Anytime any Republican goes out in public, you need to block them out, keep them away from things. And people started doing it, and it got ugly. When Joe Biden said we needed to put a target on Trump's back, and then somebody tried to kill him. This is what happens. We've got the correspondence dinner again tonight. The last one, some idiot listened to all the rhetoric and tried to get close enough to murder the president. And one political party would have been happy about it. When bad things happen to Jewish people, one political party is happy about it. That's just the reality of the world we live in. So, of course, they're going to get guns. Of course, they're going to try to protect themselves and their family because that's the right they have in the United States. But I wonder if everybody's going to get who they're going to blame when a Jewish person has to protect his or her family from some left-wing nutbag who comes to their home and tries to harm them. Probably going to blame the Jewish person, the way things are going. But, you see what happens, and this is the world, again, this is the world we live in right now. And it's fueling the rise, and I don't blame them even a little tiny bit. I do not blame them even a little tiny bit, because if somebody came after, I'm an a-religious person, but if somebody came after idiot radio talk show hosts en masse, and I felt like my family was in danger, I would do the exact same thing. Absolutely do the exact same thing. And here we are. And everybody's going to be shocked and blame the Jewish people when they defend themselves. You know that's going to happen. Mainstream media and one of the major political parties is going to blame the Jewish people for trying to protect their families in the United States. 855-839-1210 is the number here. That's 855-839-1210. We have more coming up. My name is Casey Bartholomew. It's 446. You're listening to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Well, it's official. My friends have all switched to Pure Talk because I told them they could save a bunch of money on a super reliable high-speed network with unlimited data. And because they're my friends, they trust me. As for the rest of you, well, Pure Talk understands that even though you might like me, you're not just going to take my word for it, nor should you. For that reason, and for a very limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited plan that normally sells for $65 a month. Think of it like a test drive, a super simple way to save $150 while you kick the tires on Pure Talk's blazing fast network, and a fine way to see for yourself why I switched from big wireless, along with a few 100,000 of my closest friends. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and be connected to Pure Talk's friendly U.S. customer service team. Again, dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A-plus rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hit the road this season to watch the Birds. Book your road trip with Fans of Philly. Trips are available now for Nashville, Arizona, Chicago, and London. Travel in style with transportation, a pregame party, and game tickets to enjoy the Birds on the road this season with Fans of Philly. The official travel partner of 94 WIP and the Eagles Radio Network. Book now at fansofphilly.com. That's fans with a PH of Philly.com.
I've always wanted to learn French, but the app I tried didn't help.
If you want to memorize words in another language, there's an app for that. But if you want to really learn another language, there's Babbel. Babbel was designed by over 200 language learning experts to be the most effective way to learn another language.
With other language learning apps, I was just playing games. I wasn't really learning. Babbel's different. Every time I open the app, I can choose to work on my writing, speaking, or listening. And it saves my mistakes for me to review, so I'm constantly improving. Babbel feels like it was created intentionally by people who really know what you need to learn another language. Before Babbel, I thought I just wasn't good with languages. But now I'm speaking French. Tout ça, c'est grâce à Babbel.
Want to really learn another language? Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription when you sign up at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com to save up to 50%. Babbel.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Why do some people just seem to age better than others? Truth is, it may have less to do with age and more to do with how well their bodies repair and recover each day. That's why Rescue created their Renew You age-defying drink mix. For a limited time, listeners can buy one, get two more free at res-q.com. Renew You is a delicious orange drink packed with powerful amino acids that support muscle energy, collagen production, brain function, and the building blocks your body needs to age well. Just mix it with water and enjoy. Plus, it's loaded with antioxidants to support youthful skin and cellular renewal, helping you feel energized and ready to enjoy the things you love with confidence. Just go to res-q.com and look for the buy one, get two free Renew You bundle. Or call a product consultant, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. Don't wait. Give your body what it needs for lasting vitality. Visit res-q.com. Claim your buy one, get two free Renew You bundle today.
Free speech lives here on Odyssey's #1 talk station. Talk Radio 1210. 1210. WPHT.
.451 Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Casey Bartholomew. I'm sitting in today. I'll be with you until 6 o'clock. That will be when Rich Violi comes on. 855-839-1210 is the number here. That's 855-839-1210. I don't like this idea. Ever since self-checkout came on at any stores or anything like that, New York has got a proposal out there. But everything since self-checkout came out, it's like, yeah, I'm getting employee discount because I'm doing a job. That kind of whiny-ass stuff. Personally, I think self-checkout should go back to what it was beforehand, before everybody got ridiculous about it. The self-checkout was the express lane. 10, 15 items, whatever the store had. You would go to self-checkout and you would put your 10, 12 items, and then you'd be on your way. Now people walk up with full baskets and you don't have to. You could go to the person. I don't want to, and I don't want to employee discount. It's like, shut up. Anyway, in New York, they've got an idea, which I don't like. But a 10%, because it's going to make things worse at the self-checkout, by the way, a 10% discount could be up for grabs if you're willing to work for it. New York lawmaker Nikki Lucas proposed a 10% discount for shoppers who use the self-checkout lane, which means that even more slow, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, slow old people are going to get in line at the self-checkout so they can save 10% on their prunes and treats for their cat and Geritol. And it just takes them so long to get through it. And they're got this 10%. The bill, which was introduced in May, would only require retail establishments that also sell food to provide the discount. So Target, Walmart, basically any place where you would go. Are there like clothing stores that do self-checkout? I don't think I've ever done self-checkout for clothes. I'm not a very good dresser, though. So maybe I don't go to nice enough stores that have self-checkout. But either way. And this means supermarkets or retailers like Target and Walmart. Lucas argued that the money saved should go directly to the shopper and not the company, as customers are now doing the work. You're doing it because there's too big a lines over at the employees. You're doing it to speed up your day. You're doing it to be quick. That's why you're doing it. That's the benefit you get. And again, if we start giving discounts, 10% is a significant discount too. But if we're giving discounts for people at self-checkout, it's going to get worse. That's what's going to happen. Lucas wrote in the bill, retail businesses increasingly rely on self-checkout systems to reduce staffing and operational costs by shifting responsibilities traditionally performed by employees to customers. Yeah, and all the customers, by the way, are a bunch of filthy thieves. I said earlier, I watch YouTube videos about stuff. You can watch YouTube videos about cops being called to because shoplifters come out. And they steal it. They don't realize that they're being watched by cameras, and they look at weights of everything, and they're like getting it they'll get like some cheap pack of gum, and they'll hold it underneath this big expensive thing, and they'll zap it, and they'll put it back, and they'll like charge up about $6, but they end up buying $1,000 worth of things. Probably a slight exaggeration, but still. And if we just went back to what it was supposed to be and what it was when it started, you'd go to Walmart or the grocery store or whatever. It'd be like 15 items or less. Do your self-checkout, be on your way, and get out of there. But what happened was they started expanding it. And now you see people with full shopping carts walking over there and probably stealing. I always tend to think the worst about everybody because of what I do for a living. You don't hear a lot of good news. You don't read a lot of good news. You read about how horrible human beings are. And I got to tell you, if you really want to do a deep dive, human beings are generally awful. When it comes down to, I'd rather live around dogs or cats. But either way, they get in line, and it takes forever for them to do their job, again, because they're trying to steal. Not their job, but whatever. And if they would just go back to where it was 10 or 15 items, and you could get a line, and you could be on your way. I don't need a 10% discount at the grocery store. I need them to get the hell out of the way. I need the people who are in line and charging 70, 100 items in their shopping cart at the self-checkout, and they have to work around because there's no room for it. I need those people to go away. Keep your 10%. If I go in to buy a Yoo-Hoo, then I should be able to walk up, zap my Yoo-Hoo, and be on my way. But I can't. And if you give a 10% discount, again, I'm not trying to be insulting, but I live in a little place called reality. The elderly people who are on fixed incomes are going to take up all the spaces, and I'm literally going to die waiting in line because it's going to take so long just to buy my one item and get out of there. So I don't need 10% off. So I don't like that because it encourages stupidity. More coming up. Casey Bartholomew on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Here's a harsh fact. 40% of women and nearly 20% of men suffer from varicose or spider veins. Left untreated, these veins can cause tired, heavy legs, swelling, burning, cramping, aching, even restless-leg syndrome. In some cases, it can lead to serious health risks, like blood clots. USA Vein Clinics offers minimally invasive treatments that take as little as 15 minutes, covered by most insurances. Call 267-223-7162 and schedule your appointment today. Don't wait. Call 267-223-7162 for free information today. Imagine walking, exercising, and sleeping peacefully again. Varicose and spider veins won't go away on their own. USA Vein Clinics can help. Call 267-223-7162 for fast, easy, and affordable solutions. USA Vein Clinic treatments are covered by most insurance plans. Don't put this off any longer. Call 267-223-7162.
I'm Ultima Morgan. Morgan & Morgan isn't just an injury firm. It's our family's life work. It's my husband, it's my sons, it's me. When we take a case, we see a family just like ours. $30 billion recovered is something I'm proud of. But what I'm really proud of are the families we stood beside. It's an honor to fight for you when you need our support the most. Morgan & Morgan, for the people and your family.
Morgan & Morgan, 2005 Market Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania lawyer will handle Pennsylvania cases. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Julia owed the IRS thousands.
I was paralyzed with fear.
Then
I heard a commercial for Optima Tax Relief.
Optima Tax Relief is the leading tax resolution firm and have resolved over $3 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax Relief settled my IRS tax bill.
Call Optima now for a free consultation.
It was amazing.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief.
For details, visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of crime, streaming on ABC News Live. It's still unclear whether Saudi Arabia will agree to a nuclear partnership with the U.S. that President Trump insists is in the works. The president added a caveat to the deal, which would allow the U.S. to help the Saudis build nuclear power, but the Saudis have to sign onto the Abraham Accords. That agreement paves the way for other Mideast nations to have normalized relations with Israel. Saudi Arabia has long said it wants formal recognition of a Palestinian state, something the current Israeli government won't do. ABC's Stephen Portnoy.
We've looked at the history of this and the law. This is the Atomic Energy Act of 1954, which arranges for, or allows for a congressional review process once a deal is struck with a foreign country to share nuclear technology. It was controversial to begin with because of the concerns about nuclear nonproliferation and the idea of might this not allow for international inspectors, and would the Saudis actually be enriching uranium in Saudi Arabia? The president insisted that wouldn't be part of the deal.
A shocking broad daylight double stabbing in Manhattan Thursday afternoon. The NYPD says the suspect shouted Aloha Akbar, then randomly stabbed two men in the 50s. ABC's Aaron Katursky.
One of the victims is Asian, who was stabbed in the back with a knife. The other victim is Jewish and had just stepped outside a synagogue when he was stabbed in the chest with a screwdriver. A UPS driver who saw what happened followed the suspect for several blocks. Police then took 51-year-old Raul Morales into custody.
Both were hospitalized and are in stable condition. The Carolinas are on pace for multi-day floods in the next several days. ABC meteorologist Ginger Z.
Charleston to Wilmington today finds themselves in a level 3 out of 4, so that's where some of the heaviest rain will be falling. We're talking about 3-inch per hour rainfall rates possible. That includes Myrtle Beach, right in the center of it. We've seen these heavy showers. Obviously, we know what this front can do. It's taken its sweet time getting through, and we're going to see this all the way through Saturday afternoon.
You're listening to ABC News.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments. Just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
These days, heading back to school means more than pencils and notebooks. It means laptops, tablets, online accounts, and a lot of personal information moving across the internet. WebRoot Total Protection gives families powerful online defense tools with antivirus, VPN, cloud backup, identity protection, and more, helping keep your digital life secure throughout the school year and beyond. Go to webroot.com/radio and get 60% off today. That's webroot.com/radio for 60% off. Live a better digital life with WebRoot, because peace of mind shouldn't be optional.
I'm Lindsay Davis. For the latest on today's headlines, be sure to watch Prime tonight starting at 7 Eastern on ABC News Live. Now, more news.
The FDA out with another warning today, this time regarding certain types of eggs. The agency says at least 98 people across 17 states have been infected with salmonella, with eggs likely being the source. Midwest Poultry Services issued a voluntary recall of white shell eggs and brown cage-free shell eggs with the sell-by best buy dates between July 20th and August 17th. The DOJ today announced 11 indictments in the deaths of 7 migrants who died from extreme heat after being locked in a cargo train container in May. U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Texas, Justin Simmons, said an investigation found 6 bodies when the train arrived in Laredo were connected with another found in San Antonio.
11 individuals that we've identified to date that operated this alien smuggling organization and caused the death of these 7 individuals.
Seems there was a fight involving one of the most famous prison inmates in New Jersey. ABC's Sherry Preston.
A source tells ABC News that Sean Diddy Combs has been in a fight at the Federal Correctional Institution at Fort Dix, where he's serving a 50-month sentence for transporting prostitutes. The other inmate involved in the altercation apparently made a remark to Diddy, which instigated the entire event, and Diddy was sent to solitary confinement, according to a source. It's unclear if that move will be temporary or whether he'll be kept there long-term. Combs' release is supposed to be in 2028.
I'm Stephanie Officer, ABC News.
If you haven't switched to Pure Talk because you're not sure their coverage is every bit as reliable as Big Wireless, why not take them for a test drive? For a limited time, Pure Talk is offering any of their plans for just $15 a month for the first 3 months, including their top-tier unlimited data plan. No contracts, no commitments. Just a great deal on a high-speed network with unlimited data from an American wireless company. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and let the savings begin.
Every year, millions of Americans use opioids to manage pain. Pain can be unrelenting, overwhelming, and all-consuming. So why do so many of us try to manage pain only from the palm of our hands? Doctor-prescribed opioids are appropriate in some cases, but they just mask the pain. And reliance on opioids has led to the worst drug crisis in American history. That's why the CDC recommends safer alternatives, like physical therapy, to manage pain. Physical therapists treat pain through movement, hands-on care, and patient education. No warning labels required. And by increasing physical activity, you can also reduce your risk of other chronic diseases. Pain is personal, but treating pain takes teamwork. When it comes to your health, you have a choice. Choose more movement and better health. Choose physical therapy. Visit moveforwardpt.com to find a physical therapist in your area. This message is brought to you by the American Physical Therapy Association.
WPHT, HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Piazza Premium Automobile Studios.
Powering your drive with 10 brands and 20 locations.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. Now, The Drive at 5. 30 minutes of nonstop talk from Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
506 Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Casey Bartholomew. I'm with you till 6. Stick around after the news at 6. That's when Rich Dioli comes in. 855-839-1210 is the number here. That's 855-839-1210. I hate it when people look for an opportunity to sue. And so I try to point out when people are being effing ridiculous when it comes to things like this, because everybody, instead of looking at something as just a bad thing that happens to them, sometimes people look at a bad thing that happens to them and then they decide that somebody owes them a big steaming pile of cash for that. And 99.9% of the time, they either go after the wrong person for their money, or they shouldn't get any money. In this particular place, they're going after the wrong place. But the reason they go after the wrong person in every instance is not because they think the person they're suing actually should give them any money, but they have the money, right? They have the money, therefore they think big pile of cash. Now I can retire and buy a boat or whatever people buy when they retire. I don't know. Anyway, an active duty soldier was hit by a stray bullet during a shooting outside the White House and has announced this week that he's going to sue the Secret Service over his life-threatening injuries because it's their fault that a guy came to the White House and listened to the Democrats and decided to start shooting everything, right? Private First Class Benjamin Del Real, the Jr., who's 25, was visiting the Capitol on May 23rd, and he was hoping to snap pictures with his sister and his father outside the White House when a gunman opened fire. Not the Secret Service, who he's suing. Why isn't he suing the gunman? The government probably doesn't have any money, so that's why. The Secret Service is the government. I'll get trillions. Anyway, Secret Service fired back, killing the man, and a bullet struck Del Real in the stomach, causing serious injuries that required emergency surgery. Part of his digestive system had to be removed. Gross. That's all I can say about that. My learned medical opinion is that is gross. Del Real filed notice of a personal injury claim. I wonder if he got a personal injury. I wonder if he got his lawyer off TV. But he filed a notice of a personal injury claim this week, saying he plans to sue for $25 million under the Federal Tort Claims Act. He accused the Secret Service of botching its response to the shooting and failing to adequately protect him and other bystanders. He and his lawyer, Joseph Murphy, said this. So the White House was being fired at. The Secret Service fired back. This guy accidentally got shot, and it sounds to me like the Secret Service did a good job. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that he got shot, but it sounds to me like the Secret Service did a good job. I don't really have a problem with what happened here. I mean, it's unfortunate that he got shot, but the Secret Service had to take action because the guy was shooting at the White House and trying to murder people. So I'm confused as to why he deserves $25 million from the Secret Service, who are in the process of doing their jobs. He said his sister, Sarah Del Real, said, I, my father, and Benjamin all feared for our lives. And the moment that I saw Ben bleeding was undoubtedly the scariest moment of my life. I mean, right after the fact that there was a crazy gunman shooting it all over the place. So they feared for their lives. They did not fear for their lives because of the Secret Service. And by the way, we don't yet know that the Secret Service fired the bullet that shot him, that killed him. They haven't determined that just yet. So they're suing the Secret Service because he might have gotten shot from somebody who showed up to shoot at the White House. Again, I'm struggling to find why he deserves any money from the Secret Service, let alone $25 million. If I could get $25 million from somebody, I would stand there and get shot. Not in the chest or, anything, but like in the arm. I would do that. Like grazed in the arm, something, because I don't want to lose my arm. But either way, the Secret Service has not said whether its agents fired the bullet that struck Del Real. The Metropolitan Police Department said earlier this summer that the ballistics on the bullet had not yet been returned. Metropolitan Police Department spokesman Lee Leppy, great name, said the investigation is ongoing. Well, of course it's ongoing because they're trying to figure things out. But do you think this guy deserves $25 million? The Secret Service was doing their job. It's unfortunate. But is it $25 million unfortunate? Something bad happened to him. It sucks. But the fault, and by the way, again, we don't even know if the Secret Service shot the bullet that killed him yet. It could have been the shooter jumping the gun a bit on the lawsuit. And also, let's be honest, you're probably not going to get $25 million from the shooter. That's not a thing that's going to happen. And also, he's dead. So, and the shooter was 21 years old. 21-year-old Nasir Best was killed. So does this guy deserve any money for this? I mean, yeah, it's sad, but bad things happen to good people every day. He got shot not because of the Secret Service or anything they did. He got shot because a crazy guy showed up and started firing guns at the White House. Was the Secret Service not supposed to do anything? With the Secret Service, I mean, I hate to say this. There's shooting going on. I'd have ducked. I don't know. I'd hid. I don't have a weapon, and I don't feel that I'm bulletproof, so I would have hid. Now, I'm not suggesting that he needed to do that, but the fault lies, the blame lies with the 21-year-old jackass who brought a gun and decided to shoot it at the White House, does it not? And the reason this should matter to you is because this $25 million from the Secret Service gets its money from us. So if we have to spend $25 million to give money to this guy because the Secret Service, and again, this is key, might not have shot him, and this is the kind of stuff that drives me nuts. Something bad happened to me. So that means whoever in the general vicinity has the deepest pockets needs to cut me a check for millions and millions of dollars because now I'm sad. And I don't ever want to work again. And that's really what it is. I got shot, so let me do a scan. Let me call some lawyer and do a scan around here. There, that's the White House is right there. Who is at the White House? Trump? He didn't do anything. Oh, the Secret Service. Those sons of bitches. They deserve to pay me millions and millions and millions of dollars. Not even $1 million. 25 of them. That's a lot. You could retire on $1 million. He wants $25 million. He wants to lead the good life after having gotten shot. And again, we don't even know. Now, Del Real of Salina, Kansas, and his you could buy the entire state of Kansas for $25 million. I drove across the state of Kansas once, and it took 8 hours. And it was the longest 6 weeks of my life. It was terrible, terrible drive. You could buy that entire state for $25 million. In fact, you'd probably have money left over. Del Real of Salina, Kansas, and his family spent hours that day touring the National Archives, cool, Arlington Cemetery, and other landmarks before passing the White House at around 6 p.m. They were on their way to dinner. Just then, Del Real saw the shooter about 20 yards closer to a Secret Service outpost take out a gun and fire several rounds at their booth, prompting agents to return a hail of gunfire. Well, okay. Okay. You're close to the shooter, and you see him pull out of a gun, you just stand there? I mean, really, if the guy deserves money, he deserves money. I'm struggling to find out why he deserves any money from the Secret Service. Again, go after the shooter. You're probably not going to get anything. I think that's why they're suing the Secret Service. I think that's the reason behind suing the Secret Service, is because the Secret Service has deep governmental pockets and the 21-year-old is dead. And his family probably doesn't have any money. They're probably all America-hating freaks. So anyway, there was a hail of gunfire. That's going to happen. It's sad. It's unfortunate, but that's going to happen. You're not going to have a sharpshooter situation in that setting. When you're being fired on, it's an inexact science. So Del Real pulled his father to the ground and dragged him behind a concrete barrier, saving his life. But a bullet struck Del Real in the stomach, causing him life-threatening injuries. He survived. Del Real joined the Army a year and a half ago, said he is without a doubt concerned about his ability to continue his military career. I guess I understand that, but you're not dead. You're not disabled. Why do you now deserve $25 million from the people who may not have shot you? And again, I'll say this, even if the Secret Service shot him, it was due to circumstances created by the 21-year-old shooter who was trying to murder people in the White House and trying to murder Secret Service agents. Of course they returned fire. You saw the gun. They did an admirable thing, right? He did an admirable thing. He saw the shooter. He grabbed his dad and got it. Very heroic of him. It is very unfortunate that he got shot, but does he deserve $25 million for getting shot by the Secret Service? I mean, again, it's one of those situations, and I really do want to get your take on this if you want to chime in. 855-839-1210 is the number here. But it's one of those things that comes up time and time and time again. To me, it seems like a frivolous lawsuit. People sue because bad things happen to them. And they don't sue the person who's responsible. They sue the deepest pockets that they can find. And there's all the lawsuits out there. Hell, we're always getting lawsuits. I bit something and it was hot. Oh my God. I deserve $50 million. No, you don't. You don't. Did your mouth heal? You're good. You're fine. You ordered hot food and you bit it and it was hot. Now you're shocked and you think you deserved a big pile of money. You don't. I hate to have to be the one to tell everybody this, but you don't. It all goes back to the woman who ordered hot coffee at McDonald's, got hot coffee, and it was before this, but she ordered hot coffee, got hot coffee, spilled the hot coffee, and was shocked that the hot coffee she ordered was hot. Don't drink in your car. She got money, which to this day baffles me to no end. That they gave that woman. There's documentaries out there on it, all right? Yeah, the coffee was a little hot. You still ordered hot coffee, you still spilled it on yourself. Maybe don't spill hot coffee on yourself. Maybe that would work. I've had bad things happen to me at restaurants. I had a donut once, and a crown in my mouth broke. I didn't sue the donut place. I had dental insurance. Maybe I should have, but it's a small local donut place. I wouldn't have gotten billions of dollars from them. But I went to the dentist. They looked at my crown. They said, "Your crown broke," and I said, "Yeah." I know, that's why I'm here. They popped it off and stuck when it literally took 10 minutes, I think, because the broken one just popped right off and they just popped another one back on there. So it was no big deal. I didn't sit back and go, I now deserve to never, ever, ever have to work another day in my life because I bit a donut that had something happen. But that's what people do. And now this guy is looking at this. I mean, he's a soldier, so he's brave. He saved his dad's life in the situation, so he's brave. He accidentally got shot because there was an active shooter situation going on. Does that mean he deserves $25 million or anything? It's unfortunate, yeah. Of course it is. But it wasn't the Secret Service's fault that a guy showed up that day and started firing. It wasn't the fault of the government that some jackass showed up, pulled out a gun, and started firing at the White House. When this guy is anybody at the White House, the Secret Service, the people at the gate, anybody? Are they supposed to go, oh, there's somebody firing? All right. I guess this is it. I guess I just have to die now because I'm not allowed to do anything about it. Of course not. If they don't fire back, if they don't kill the guy, what happens if he turns? And again, I want to stress this point too. And I know why they filed the lawsuit. But I want to stress this point, too. They don't know if it was the Secret Service who shot this guy yet. They don't know if it was the Secret Service who killed him. What happens to the lawsuit if we find out it was the shooter? What happens to the lawsuit if we find out it was the 21-year-old who came to the White House that day and decided to murder people? What do we do then? Anything? Is it still the Secret Service's fault? Because maybe I can get $25 million? It's 855-839-1210. Now, a lot of times, because I said earlier in the show that I have a negative view of humans because my home planet is totally different than this. And when you do this kind of work, you read only the worst about people. There is no good news section that you go to and talk about uplifting things because nobody would care. But in this particular case, what usually is happening, what usually is going on is that, like I said, something bad happens to you. And so what you do is instead of going, oh no, something bad happened to me, sometimes the lawyer finds you. Sometimes the lawyer finds you. This guy went into the hospital, and I don't know that any of that happened here, by the way, all right? But sometimes this is what happens. The lawyers hear about you getting shot and going into the hospital, and they find ways to contact you, ambulance chasing, whatever, and they get your information, and then they sit there while you're in the hospital, and they talk to your family, and they talk to you, and they convince you that, yes, this horrible thing happened to you. There is no way that you should have to ever work another day in your life. And here's what I'm going to do. I'll take this case on a contingency, and it won't cost you a dime. It won't cost you a penny. I'll just take a percentage of the money we get because something bad happened to you, and you'll be able to live the rest of your life in relative comfort. And that's what they do, and people are sitting in a hospital, and their family's sitting outside, and they go, you can get me $1 million? Hoo-wee! And then they all get excited. They're going to buy new overalls and whatever. So they go there. And what they're hoping for is not to get $25 million. What they're hoping for is to get something. What they're hoping for is that the lawyers for the Secret Service, probably the DOJ, but either way, so the governmental lawyers will look at this and say, okay, if we fight this in court, it'll probably cost us $5 million. So what we'll do is we'll offer you $3 million, and you can just go away. And big corporations do that too, because a lot of times that's the goal, right? A lot of times the goal is to get the settlement and never go to court and get my money and start buying stuff. And the lawyer just wants the same thing because they don't want to put the work in and because that costs them money. So they just take that, and then usually they split it. Like they'll each get 1.5 or whatever. And you walk away with not nearly as much money as you thought, and the lawyer gets rich and happy. But either way, and they do the same thing with major corporations. They call it bean counting. What they did, something bad will happen, a car dealer or a car manufacturer, a screw won't be attached and it'll catch fire. And oh my God, my car got caught on fire. And I was so very scared that I pulled off to the side of the road, and I was worried for myself. And you'll sue the car manufacturer for whatever, $100 gajillion. And the car manufacturer will say, okay, same thing. It'll cost us $10 million to fight it in court. We'll give you $7 million. And for $7 million, you walk away. And that happens every day. And that's why you see lawsuits like this. That is why things like this happen. Somebody came to the White House to try to murder probably Trump. but to try to murder people, started firing off shots, and who would have thunk that the Secret Service would have shot back, and this guy gets injured? I guess the mindset that we live in right now is that the Secret Service was just supposed to sit there. They were supposed to let themselves get shot. They were supposed to let Trump get murdered and anybody else in the White House get murdered. And they weren't supposed to do anything about it. Just sit back there, cover their ears, cross their fingers, and hope that the shooter runs out of bullets. They don't do that, though, of course, because that's not the job. They fired back. And unfortunately, this guy got shot. And I guess the mindset, again, is that the Secret Service isn't supposed to do their job. I guess the justification here is that this guy was shot accidentally and deserves money. I really am. And I know I mentioned it earlier. I really am wondering what happens when, if and when they find out that the shooter is the one who shot him, right? That sounded weird. The bad guy, the guy who came to the fight, not the Secret Service, the bad guy shooter, is the one who shot and killed him. Is the lawsuit still there? And that's why if somebody's driving a car down the road, I don't know, a Ford, let's say, driving a Ford down the road and it was driving too fast and it hits somebody and they get injured, they don't sue the guy who was driving the car. They sue Ford. Ford should have known that that car was going to be driven too fast. They should have known that people were going to look at that car and they were going to drive it too fast. And they should have been able to predict this sort of thing happening. And for that reason and that reason alone, Ford now owes me $100 billion, not the person who drove the car and hit me and took my leg or whatever happens. Making up the whole scenario. But that person, the people who make it are Ford because they should have known. And this never goes away. And this is why we need tort reform in this country. This is why we need it, so that people who deserve money, and there are people who deserve it, right? There are situations where bad things happen and some big corporation or even the government, the Secret Service, is actually responsible for this. But this is why we pass judgment when we hear these things. And anybody who files a frivolous lawsuit or any scumbag attorney who goes on TV and says, I'm Casey Bartholomew, I'll fight for you, and Casey Bartholomew got me $3 million. And I used to have a friend who was a lawyer, a legitimate lawyer, not one of the TV lawyers, and there was a sign that got, hey, so-and-so got me $2.1 million. And he used to say, yeah, he got him $2.1 million on a $200 million case, so that you don't go to the TV for your lawyers, really. But anyway, that's just me. That's just the way I feel. And based on the facts that we have right now, it is my opinion as a radio talk show host that this guy doesn't deserve any money from the Secret Service. A bad thing happened to him. Bad things happen to people every day. Bad things happen to good people every day. And it doesn't mean you deserve a big steaming pile of cash and you and your family never have to work again. And it doesn't mean you get to go back to Kansas and, I don't know, do whatever you do in Kansas. I don't know what happens in Kansas. Like I said, I drove through it once and I literally didn't see a thing. So maybe they need $25 million to make their lives bearable in Kansas. I don't know. But either way, 855-839-1210 is the number here. That's 855-839-1210. When we come back, there's a new grocery store law happening in New Jersey. Even though it was signed into law by their Democratic governor, it's a good idea. All right, because it's kind of crappy what they're doing. We'll talk to you about it and get your reaction. All that is coming up. My name is Casey Bartholomew, and I am sitting in today on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
You can listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the iHeartRadio app.
With the high price of new and used cars today, many drivers are choosing to keep their vehicles a lot longer. But with the average car now over 12 years old, most manufacturers' warranties have expired. I'm Danica Patrick. If your car is out of warranty, a single trip to the mechanic could cost you thousands. That's why smart drivers choose Endurance. If your vehicle is less than 20 years old, no matter the mileage, Endurance could have your car covered for the drivetrain, electrical, AC, transmission, and more. And Endurance is with you every step of the way, from filing a claim to paying the mechanic of your choice directly. And your rate won't go up no matter how many claims you file. Call Endurance now and choose the plan that fits your budget. Act now and get 1 year of elite benefits, A $2,000 value free.
For your fast free quote, call 800-291-0342. 800-291-0342. 800-291-0342.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
Welcome to Bucks County Estate Traders.
Wow, look at the selection. So many great pieces.
If it's one-of-a-kind pieces you're looking for, you've come to the right place. We have a huge selection, from high-end brands like Stickley, Baker, and Henredon, or if you're looking for that vintage or antique piece to make a statement, we got that too.
I think I'm going to need a few laps to check everything out.
Yeah, we hear that a lot. Happy hunting!
For quality high-end furniture built to last, visit their showroom in Hatfield or online at buckscountyestatetraders.com.
You don't need another opinion, just the facts.
What caused that crash on the Schuylkill? Will it rain before the kids' game? What happened at the school board meeting last night?
At KYW News Radio, we don't take sides. We take notes, delivering the information you need to make the best decisions for your family.
The news you need whenever you need it.
Depend on KYW News Radio, Philadelphia's most trusted news leader for more than 60 years.
Summer is such a special time to get engaged, and at Cozy Jewelers in Newtown Square, I'd love to help you find the perfect ring for that moment. I'm Paul Cozy, and whether you're looking to create something completely custom or want help selecting a beautiful diamond and ring that's ready to go, I'll personally work with you every step of the way. Everything we do is handled in-house right here at Cozy Jewelers, which makes the process personal, comfortable, and truly one of a kind. If you're thinking about taking that next step this summer, come see me at Cozy Jewelers, and let's make the ring that's meant for your future fiancé.
250 years have gone into building this great nation. Iron, brick, and stone forming its foundations. Wires carrying the lifeblood of electricity. And pipes delivering the water to our cities. Behold, the strength and scale of American infrastructure. But it only takes a minute for some uninformed homeowner with a shovel to shut it all down. Electricity off. Running water non-existent. And that sewage ain't going nowhere now. Gee, thanks, Bill. Know what's below. And contact PA1 Call before you dig. Visit PA1Call.org.
Update your space with a home equity loan from American Heritage Credit Union. With home equity, you have lots of options. You can complete home improvement projects, fund a family vacation, consolidate bills, or pay for school tuition. Celebrating 250 years of the American dream. Visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/home equity to learn more. Insured by the NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity. Not a member? Join today. NMLS 433838.
You know what I love? American-made products, baby. That's right. It's Rich Zioli. American-made products, and that's what you get from Emmons Roofing and Siding. Owens Corning shingles are made in New Jersey. Certainteed siding made right outside of Philly. Provia windows and doors handcrafted in Ohio. And because Emmons is platinum with Owens Corning, your roof comes with a lifetime workmanship warranty. That's accountability on American-made quality from an American company right in our backyard. EmmonsRoofing.com. EmmonsRoofing.com.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Broadcasting live from the Piazza Auto Group studios. Experience the power of one with 8 brands and 25 locations. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
.534, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Casey Bartholomew. I'll be with you until 6 o'clock. Stick around after the news at 6. That'll be when Rich Zioli comes on. 855-839-1210. That's 855-839-1210. Even Democrats have good ideas sometimes, right? Even broken clocks are right twice a day. A new law prevents New Jersey grocery stores and delivery apps from using personal information to charge shoppers different prices for identical products based on what an algorithm predicts a shopper is willing or able to pay. Now, that sounds like a lot of sciencey stuff that I really don't understand. But smarter people than me make these algorithms that are able to tell when I walk in, I don't know how it all works, but I guess when I walk in, that Casey is willing to spend X number of dollars on his Yoo-hoo when somebody else is not willing to spend nearly as much money. And so they charge me that, and they charge somebody else different, which is grossly unfair. That shouldn't be allowed, right? They should have to charge. I should be able to pay the same for my Yoo-hoo as somebody else does. I don't, I should be able to get just the standard price for everything. It doesn't make any sense to me that they would do this. Now, Governor Mikey Sherrill signed the Fair Price Protection Act into law yesterday. The new bill protects New Jersey shoppers from discriminatory surveillance pricing. That sounds creepy. Makes it sound like they're following me around. And I guess in a way they are. But according to officials, surveillance pricing uses consumer data to set prices for individual shoppers. The practice often uses large-scale data collection and artificial intelligence. I wonder if I'd get a deal on things just because I dress like a slob. I wonder if the AI would, because they're using cameras all over the place. They're using AI, they're using cameras, and they're using data collection. So they're probably this means that they have a record, by the way, of everything you're buying, too. They have a record of everything you're purchasing because they know that data collection, okay, back then they paid this. They didn't pay it when it was this, so we could jump it up to this and, all that stuff. And if they're using AI, that means they're watching you, judging you like they do. I probably look at how I'm dressed, and they're like, oh. I think even AI would go, oh, we should give him his stuff for free. Because he looks like, one of those people that has a hard time holding a job just because they aren't very bright. Something like that. That's probably what it is. But either way. Now, while the companies normally adjust prices based on market conditions, I don't mind that. If the market changes and things have to go up or down, that's right. But they're just changing the price for me or you when you go in. That's not fair. It's like I was saying, while companies normally adjust prices based on market conditions, surveillance pricing allows them to change prices based on surveilling the characteristics of individual shoppers, often without their knowledge. Oh, you're all being watched. Oh, you're all being watched all over the place. And now they're looking at, like I said, what are they watching for? Are they looking for what I'm wearing? Because that would suck, right? Are they looking for what I'm wearing? Are they looking for what I have on? And are deciding that I can pay a certain amount or can't pay a certain amount based on somebody else? If I'm a guy by myself, are they going to charge me more than maybe a family because the family? I don't know. I want to know, none of this stuff seems fair, but I would like to know a little bit more about how it works because that doesn't seem right. Now, and they're doing it without your knowledge. I mean, don't we kind of know? Don't we kind of know what's going on if they're checking us out all over the place and watching us and maybe our habits, maybe the other things we're looking at, and they can determine, they're looking at that big screen TV. They have money. His Yoo-hoo will cost $5 a bottle. That's Yoo-hooist. And that's not okay. Now, Governor Sherrill in Jersey said New Jersey families are already feeling the pressure of higher costs. The last thing they need is companies secretly using their personal data to charge them more than someone else for the exact same product. I really am fascinated by this. If businesses want to compete, they should do so by offering better prices, not by finding new ways to squeeze shoppers. This puts New Jersey shoppers first by protecting their privacy and ensuring their fairness. So I'm trying to figure out how this works. I've not seen it in practice myself, so I'm trying to figure out how it works. Like, if they're using AI to charge me different prices, when do I find that out, right? They have those little electronic price changers that they have there, which they try to sell as this vast customer service, but they can just change things like that. Are those prices changing because I walk up and it goes up or down? And if somebody else walks up, it goes up or down. Is that how it's working? Do I find out at the cash register? Are they just not putting the prices on things? I mean, I really am fascinated by this. I really would like to know how they're making all this work out because whatever it is, it's wrong. And what happens, like, let's say I'm standing there in front of the Yoo-hoo and I pick one up, but somebody else who might, look like they have a little bit more money or even a little bit less money than me, or they're able to look at them and see that their economic situation is different than mine. If we're both standing there, will the price change? It does make one wonder, because it doesn't make sense to me. Now, the bill also places a 1-year moratorium on the use of electronic shelf labels amid a study from the New Jersey Innovation Authority on the effects and impact of the technology. That's what that is. They put them up there. They're, used to walk up and somebody would have to change the sign. And now they have the different ones where they can just change it somewhere in master control, probably with computers and dark lighting. Really cold in there, too, because of all the evil computers. According to Cheryl, she says, we're going to study their impact to make sure they aren't hurting New Jersey shoppers or workers. Part of affordability is making sure consumers get a fair shake. I don't mind those things. The quick change things, I don't mind those because it seems like it's more cost effective to do that. What I would mind is if they're changing prices if they've got a computer set up and they're changing prices using AI based on when I walk up or when somebody else walks up. The price should be the price. It shouldn't be the price because I have to pay more, because I can afford to pay more. If I walk in with Elon Musk and I pay, whatever, $1.50, $2 for a bottle of soda, and Musk walks in and suddenly the Coke is $1,000 because he can afford to pay it. That's not fair. That's not right. The price is the price. If you want to sell more of something, lower the price. Don't try to charge me more just because I might make a decent living somewhere. That doesn't make any sense. So like Cheryl says, we're going to study their impact to make sure they aren't hurting New Jersey shoppers and workers, because part of affordability is making sure consumers get a fair shake. The bill does not require that stores stop using, repairing, or replacing existing electronic shelf labels. However, However, a spokesperson for the National Grocers Association, the NGA, the trade group that represents independent grocers, said the electronic shelf labels help independent grocers improve pricing accuracy. What that means is it allows them to, because if a price changes, sometimes there's a little lag time for the time that they can get the price and run out in the store and change the price on the sign or on everything like that. That's why sometimes you get things cheaper. Then they ring up, because you'll take it to the register and it'll ring up as whatever, $5. And you go back, well, wait a minute, the sign said $4, and they have to send somebody back and they'll adjust the price. That's what that is, usually. But that just allows them to raise the prices quicker so that there's no lag time. But they say to improve pricing accuracy, enhance in-store efficiencies, and free employees from their repetitive manual tasks so they can focus on other higher value responsibilities such as customer assistance and operational excellence. Well, that is a crock of you-know-what. They want to have them so that they can fire more employees is what they want to do. They don't want to have employees going out into the store and changing signs all over the place. They want to be able to push a button, and if they don't have to pay somebody to go out and change the sign, they want to be able to terminate them is what they want to do. I speak moron fluently. The spokesman also criticized the new law, saying this bill punishes independent grocers and their customers for the actions of large online realtors. Independent grocers do not use algorithmic, dynamic, or surge pricing models. Instead, they rely on the traditional cost-based pricing, promotions, loyalty programs, and discounts to keep groceries affordable for their customers. What they're saying there is that they can't afford the technology. That's what that means. The new law, they can't afford the AI. The new law still allows for loyalty programs or discounts for seniors, military members, and teachers, officials said. So that's what they're trying to do. But I like that law because it means they can't change the price on something just because I'm buying it. That's not good. I don't have a problem with that. I don't want grocery stores changing the price on something because I'm buying it and then lower the price on something because someone else is buying it. It's not fair. The price should be the price. Truth in pricing. That's what we're looking for in everything, and that's what we should be able to get. So I don't have a problem with that. Like I said, see, even a broken clock is right twice a day. All right, 855-839-1210 is the number here, and that's 855-839-1210. My name is Casey Bartholomew. Coming up, we're going to talk to you about a choice that some people are making that is really going to have a bad impact over the summer months. I'm Casey Bartholomew. It's 546. You're listening to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathy Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Your heart's rhythm is what. Don't take chances. DemandDeborah.org.
Employee pricing isn't just for employees anymore. For a limited time only this July, everyone saves at Closet Factory, Philadelphia. Schedule your free design consultation today at ClosetFactory.com. That's ClosetFactory.com.
Looking for an auto repair shop you can actually trust? McCullough's Auto Repair has been serving Delco since 1999. They believe honesty, fairness, and friendly service still matter. Chuck and Ralph run the place. No matter your car's issue, they'll explain it in plain English and help you decide what really needs to be done now and what can wait. Chuck's motto is, I'll never steer you wrong. Call McCullough's at 610-446-1230 and ask for Chuck or Ralph. Or visit McCulloughsAutoRepair.com.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Are you having trouble hearing? Hearing loss can devastate the quality of your life. Now, there's an affordable fix for you or your loved one. Rated the best hearing aids of 2026 by Forbes Health, Audion Hearing has the highest quality hearing aids at the lowest prices, starting at just $98 a pair.
I actually like them better than my old $5,000 hearing aid.
I could not believe how my hearing and life changed.
Join over 1 million happy customers by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
The fireworks aren't just in the sky. They're on our lot this July. At Tri-County Toyota, get explosive savings like a new 2026 Toyota Tundra with 2.99% APR financing. Don't wait for the finale. These deals go boom and then they're gone. Visit us at 15 D&L Drive or online at TriCountyToyota.com. 3 counties, 1 priority. You with approved credit. Final price includes a $4.90 doc fee. Expires August 3rd, 2026.
Jim Cipriotti at Retire Ready Financial Group doesn't need Google to know you're worried about retirement. Between inflation, rising taxes, and the uncertainty about Social Security, he understands. That's why he offers a complimentary retirement second opinion. It's a no-obligation meeting for you to talk about your concerns about retirement. You want to know if you're going to be okay? Let's find out. 610-894-7415 or go online, retirereadyfg.com.
Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, NPN number 2083768.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
.550 Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Casey Bartholomew. I'm just sitting in today. I'll be with you for a few more minutes. And then a real live talk show host, Rich Zioli, will come in and entertain you. 855-839-1210 is the number here. That's 855-839-1210. No. Just no. As people are suffering through yet another summer, the heat waves are out there. been a little calm in Philly lately, but it's going to get bad again. But as people are doing this, they may have another noxious smell to deal with all over the place. And that is the unwelcome underarm scent that comes courtesy of people who, in the name of environmental friendliness, have decided to stop wearing deodorant. Now, I don't know, I guess maybe if it was the aerosol can deodorant, but there's alternatives, people. There's roll-on and stick, and I think they still have that gel stuff. There's any number of things you can do in order to stop the scent. But these people are actively and willfully choosing not to wear deodorant, and they think it's your problem if you have to experience that wall of ick that they bring. And one of them, Kate Coretta, is among the proudly. She's a woman. Women are clean. That's why there are entire sections of woman products in stores. Makeup, deodorant, perfumes, body wash, all sorts of stuff. Body spray. Is it sexist? Yes. But let's go. Lean into it. Let's go to it. Usually, guys, we have like a row. And it's stuff nobody uses anyway. But either way, the Kate Coretta is her name. She's among the many proudly going au naturel in the hot weather. The 36-year-old hairstylist and carpenter makes no apologies for her personal choice to not cover up, calling antiperspirants a stupid thing to waste money on. That is not true. So she's a carpenter, which means she gets sweaty building stuff and doing carpentry things and thinking carpentry thoughts. And that's vile and disgusting. And then after not putting any deodorant on, she's a hairdresser, which means her pits are right in someone's face. I bet she's not terribly successful. She says, I just don't see it as something that's necessary. I would like to take a vote on this, please. Like, if I smell, I'll just wash myself. She doesn't consider herself a very smelly person. She said, I also don't shave my armpits. And then this genius has this logic. I don't shave my armpits, so I feel like there's a bit of natural deodorant quality to that. Because your armpit hair, wicks moisture away from your skin. As a guy, as a relatively hairy guy, all right? Which means I have relatively hairy armpits. I am here to tell you that there is no scientific or reality-based foundation in the fact that having armpit hair blocks the natural stench that human beings have from their armpits. Not even a little bit. In fact, I can tell you that with my armpit hair, it took me a good while back in the day to find a deodorant that was effective for an extended period of time. And I didn't ever once think, you know what, I got me some armpit hair, so I'm just going to go ahead and not do nothing with it. I'm just not going to do it. No, we searched. I was like 14. My mom, dad, and I, we looked for something, though. I went through everything, and I found one that works. It works for me, and more importantly, it works for everyone else, so you don't have to smell me. She says, you already got soap and water in your house. Your natural biome works better when you disrupt it less with more product. So she's suggesting that she smells less because she uses less product. And it's a growing movement. If I had more time, I could tell you multiple stories here, but just know there's a growing movement out there in the name of the environment, which makes no sense, and it's going to get hotter and sweatier out there as the summer goes on, where people are actively choosing not to wear deodorant, which means people are going to die from the smell because that's what happens. It's science. We're all done. Thanks, everybody, for listening and calling in. Rich Zeoli is next. My name's Casey Bartholomew. It is 5:56. You're listening to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if